Assalamualaikum. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Shirley Melita. It is a wonderful and precious chance for me to be your master of ceremony in our big event, the International Conference of Business, Agribusiness and Agriculture, held by the Medan Area University in collaboration with Prima Indonesia University on the 11th to the 12th of November 2020. Firstly, let us say thanks to the Almighty God who has been giving us help and guidance so we can participate in this event by online. Let's hope that this COVID-19 pandemic can be resolved quickly. In this beautiful moment, I would like to welcome
Recording in
all of
progress.
our keynote speakers, the officials of Medan Area University, the chairman of the Education Foundation of Haji Agus Salim, the officials of Prima Indonesia University, the governor of North Sumatra Province, the Minister of Agriculture of Republic of Indonesia, and also all of you, Mr. and Mrs. who participate in this special event. Ladies and gentlemen, on this special morning we have several agendas. So please allow me to read several sequences of our agenda. The first is opening and singing the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. The second is prayer time. The third is opening speech by the steering committee. The fourth is opening speech by the director of the postgraduate program of Medan Area University. The fifth is opening speech by the rector of Medan Area University. The sixth is the welcoming speech by the governor of North Sumatra Province. The seventh is the opening speech by our special speaker, the Minister of Agriculture of Republic of Indonesia, who is represented by the Director General of Agriculture Facilities and Infrastructure. The eighth is the presentation of our keynote speakers, and the ninth is discussion. And then before break session, there will be explanation about the guidance of the parallel presentation. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as the part of the opening of this international conference, we will listen to the national anthem of Indonesia, namely Indonesia Raya. Dear audience, we invite you to stand in your respective places while the national anthem is playing. The national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya. Dear audience, you may sit down. Thank you. Next, we will enter the prayer time. to pray for this international conference to run smoothly. Let us pray according to our respective religions. Time to start playing is welcome. The time for prayer is over. Step on to the following agenda is the opening speech from the steering committee, Profesor Insinyur Haji Zulkarnain Lubis, MS PhD. To the Honorable Professor Insinyur Haji Zulkarnain Lubis, MS PhD, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I would like to greet all the speakers and participants. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The Honorable, the Minister of Agriculture of the Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Syahrul Yassin Limpo, represented by the Director General of Agricultural Infrastructure and Facility, Insinyur Ali Jamil, MP PhD. The Honorable, the Governor of North Sumatra, Lieutenant General Edi Ramayadi. The Honorable, all the keynote speakers, Professor Song Su Lim, the Professor of Food and Resources Economics Department, Korea University. Associate Professor Nguyen Ko Ying, Lecturer of Soil Science Department, College of Agriculture, Kanto University, Vietnam. Professor Dr. Muhammad Aminul Islam, Professor of the School of Business Innovation and Technopreneurship at University Malaysia, Perlis. Associate Professor Dr. Nalini Arumugam, Faculty of Bioresources and Food Industry, University Sultan Zainal Abidin, Terengganu, Malaysia. The Honorable Director of University Medan Area, Professor Dr. Dadan Ramdan, MSc, MNG. The Honorable Rector of University Prima Indonesia, Professor Krismis Novalina Ginting. The Director of Postgraduate Study, University Medan Area, Professor Dr. Ratnoastuti Kusumawardani. The Honorable, all the presenters and the participants attending the international conference, whom I respect to and I am proud of, the Chairman of the Organizing Committee, Dr. Insinyur Syahbudin Hasibuan, and the entire committee members. Ladies and gentlemen, nowadays the world is facing various issues concerning the relationship between business and agriculture. As anybody knows, lots of sectors which are not only in health and education, but also in other sectors including business and agriculture. Global security would be threatened as a consequence of so-called lockdown, economic decline, restriction on food trade, and the emergence of the food price inflation. Thus, the extension of pandemic requires any country the readiness to meet food demand along the stability in business and agriculture aspect. Another issue is the need to improve the quality and quantity agricultural crop production due to the significant increase of human population, which have influenced excessive uses of chemical material such as fertilizers and pesticides, costs of soil reduction quality, and emerging critical severity of plant pathogens. Therefore, in order to maintain sustainable agriculture with a balanced and resilient ecosystem, it is needed to have comprehensive and appropriate strategy in agriculture sector and food industry, so that the need of food for the people and so that the need of food of the people could be provided. On the other hand, the environmental preservation can also be maintained. Integration of technology and rapid technological developments, especially for the usage of artificial intelligence and machine learning, will be provided a great opportunity realize future and precise farming characterized by increasing in production efficiency, controlling and predicting various indicators accurately and precisely. Meanwhile, academics may have a lot of findings and innovations, but they have not been widely published and disseminated to the public, whereas they are possibly needed to expand the technologies and innovation in the sector of agriculture, business as well as agribusiness. The conference held today was meant for bridging the need and the availability of sustainable technology for the benefit of the business world, especially those engaged in agribusiness, including the upstream agribusiness, on farming, as well as in the downstream agribusiness, by considering efficiency and conservation aspect. Hopefully, through this conference, there will be revealed meaningful findings and outputs which will contribute to the benefit of mankind, especially in the field of agribusiness, agriculture, and business. Thank you to all the speakers, the participants, and the committee, especially the Ministry of Agriculture and the Governor of North Sumatra, and all the keynote speakers for the participation and the involvement in this conference. Enjoy the conference. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We thank you, Professor, for the greetings. Ladies and gentlemen, now we will listen to the opening speech from the Director of Postgraduate Program of Medan Area University, Profesor Dr. Insinyur Hajah Retna Astuti Kuswardani, MS, to the Honorable Profesor Dr. Insinyur Hajah Retna Astuti Kuswardani, MS. Time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In the name of Allah, the most gracious and most merciful, all praise to be Allah, the Lord of the world. The Honorable North Sumatra Governor, Bapak Letjen TNI Purnawirawan Haji Edi Rahmayadi, the Honorable Agriculture Minister, represented Engineer Ali Jamil, MP PhD, the Honorable Rector of Universitas Medan Area, Bapak Profesor Dr. Dadan Ramdan, MN MSc, the Honorable Chairman of Yayasan Pendidikan Haji Agus Salim, Bapak Dr. Andes M. Erwin Siregar, MPI, the Honorable, Rector of Universitas Prima Indonesia, the Honorable of all keynote speakers, Professor Song So Lim, Professor Nguyen Quy Nha, Professor Dr. M.D. Aminul Islam, Professor Dr. Nalini Arumugam, the Honorable, the Chairman Committee, Bapak Dr. Insinyur Sahbudin Hasibuan, the Honorable all the participants of this conference. As we know, we all feel the impact of the COVID-19 virus pandemic. From the impact of pandemic in the health sector, it has turned into an economic threat to global food security in the form of lockdown, economic downturns, restriction on food trade and food security, food price inflation. Due to the pandemic, most countries must be able to meet their food, in which case the agriculture sector is quite stable independently and economically. Helped by exciting business and agribusiness. Based on this issue, we need to have a discussion through this conference organized by postgraduate Faculty of Agriculture, Universitas Medan Area, and postgraduate Universitas Prima Indonesia to hold an international conference entitled First International Conference Business, Agribusiness, Agriculture, which aims for dissemination that bridge research technology both domestically and internationally so that it can be a reference and learning for Indonesia and others. The conference held today and tomorrow will discuss various papers on business, agribusiness, and agriculture, which will be presented by policymakers, keynote speakers from several countries, presenters from various institutions, and scientists studies both from within and outside the country. At this conference, we expect many valuable findings and information from the results of research that has been carried out by students, lecturers, and researchers from various institutions who actively participate in this webinar event, exchanging information among participants so that in the future there can be sustainable collaboration to advance research, publication of research results, and utilization of research results. We hope that with this international conference, various benefits will be obtained, including E. Can distribute and facilitate research results on a national and international scale in the field of business, agribusiness, and agriculture to reputable international journals. B. As an agenda for the postgraduate Universitas Medan Area annual conference in collaboration with Universitas Prima Indonesia and other institutions in order to provide a forum for the academic community and researchers to disseminate research results. The formulation of concept and recommendation resulting from the international conference is expected to be considered as one of the inputs for stakeholders and professions that are relevant to the theme of the international conference. D. Encouraging the spirit to togetherness and network expansion of cooperation between the academic community, researchers, governance, private, business, and the community in order to support the welfare of the community as an effort to realize the sustainable development goals. On this occasion, we would like to thank the Minister of Agriculture North Sumatra Governor. We also thank all parties, Rector of Medan, Universitas Medan Area, Chairman of Yayasan Pendidikan Haji Agus Salim, Director of Postgraduate Universitas Prima, all speakers and presenters, and all committees who have worked hard to organize the conference. Congratulations to conducting the conference to all presenters and participants. We apologize if there is something wrong in organizing this conference. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We thank you, Professor, for the greetings. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my deep pleasure to welcome the Rector of Medan Area University, Professor Dr. Dadan Ramdan, Master of Engineering, Master of Science, to give an opening speech. To the Honorable Professor Dr. Dadan Ramdan, Master of Engineering, Master of Science, time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala anbiya war mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. Rabbi sholli sadri wa yassir amri wa uqdatam lisani yafqahu qawli. The Honorable Bapak Insinyur Ali Jamil, MPPhD, General Director Infrastructure, represent Indonesian Ministry of Agriculture, the Honorable Haji Edi Rahmayadi, Governor of North Sumatra, the Honorable Professor Song Sulim, Professor of Food and Resource Economics Department, Korea University, the Honorable Professor Dr. M.D. Aminul Islam, Professor in the School of Business Innovation and Technopreneurship, University Malaysia Perlis, the Honorable Associate Professor Dr. Nalini Arumugam, Faculty of Bioresources and Food Industry, University Sultan Zainal Abidin, Terengganu, Malaysia, the Honorable Associate Professor Nguyen Koingia, Lecturer of Soil Science Department, College of Agriculture, Kanto University, Vietnam, the Honorable Professor Dr. Krismis Novalinda Ginting, MKes, Rector of Universitas Prima Indonesia, the Honorable Professor Dr. Insinyur Hajah Retna Asuti, Kusmardani MS, Director of Postgraduate Program of Universitas Medan Area, the Honorable Professor Insinyur Julkarnain MS PhD, Head of Doctoral Study Program, Universitas Medan Area, and the Honorable Dr. Insinyur Syahbudin Hasibuan, MSc, Dean of Agriculture Faculty, Universitas Medan Area, and all participants and presenter. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let us praise and thank the presence of Allah Almighty for abundance of grace and joy, so we can still gather here in this event with a good health and condition. Ladies and gentlemen, on this great event, I would like to thank and greatly appreciate the willingness of all parties involving on this event with entitled First International Conference of Business, Agribusiness, and Agriculture. I hope this event will be a step for us to enhance our collaboration in research activities and learning experience, and to inspire all of us for innovation and exchange technologies. Moreover, I expected this collaboration will be continued, sustained, and give positive impact to all the parties. UMA, as one of the biggest private university in Medan, Indonesia, will be always support for all this collaboration. Therefore, I hope this event will be continue next years with better condition. We can meet face to face and say hi to each other. Ladies and gentlemen, in accordance with the topic of this event today, we know the country business, agribusiness, and agriculture sectors are interrelated and playing important roles in globalization era. Unfortunately, the issue of COVID-19 pandemic has given negative impact on many sectors, including business, agribusiness, and agriculture. Therefore, this issue is one of the main reasons of organizing this event. We hope this event would provide many intention, innovation, sharing experience to enhance our confidence that we will be survive and ready to move to the new normal era. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to listen, share, and discuss further about business, agribusiness, and agriculture with our professional speakers who have had their time to share their through regarding the topic of the international conference today. I hope, appreciate for all the hard work and great commitment from all of our committee to keep this event to be held today. And finally, I welcome to all of the participants who's being here today. And I want to say, have a great event. Have a wonderful time where you, may you and your family are always surrounded with prosperity, health, peace, and full blessing. Thank you for your attention. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor, for the greetings. Dear audience, while we wait for the Governor of North Sumatra Province and the Minister of Agriculture of Republic of Indonesia to give their opening speeches, please let me allow to present some guidelines for the parallel sessions that will held after the break time. Here are some guidelines for the presenter. Presentations of the speakers will be taking place on the 11th and the 12th of November 2020. Presenters are required to provide slide presentation before the 10th November 2020. The presenters are suggested to create slide presentation between 10 to 12 slides, in which consist of several information, namely cover, introduction, material and method, result and discussion, and also acknowledgement. The presentation for presenter only 10 minutes and 5 minutes for discussion and review. Round tables will be organized slightly differently. Questions and comments received online will be referred by the chairperson to individual speakers, or in some cases to the entire group. Please try to keep your comments focused and avoid repeating points made by the others. There is universal regulations for ICBAA conference, namely, first, participants should join the conference at least 15 minutes before started. 2, have a reliable and secure internet connection. Third, make sure you are in secure and quiet environment. Fourth, ensure there are no interruptions. Fifth, all attendees should wear headset or hands-free set with a microphone that's compatible. Sixth, be aware of when your microphone is on mute or not. 7, have video or webcam enabled. 8, turn off notification and enable silent mode on all devices. 9, avoid unnecessary typing if possible. 10, be respectful of other attendees and avoid talking over each other as you would in physical meeting. 11th, have the essential document only, windows and tabs open, and try and avoid distraction. 12, please do not hesitate to contact us if you find any technical difficulties. And please be noted, the moderator of panel session will notify one time only, or 2 minutes sharp, if there is no information. The moderator is allowed to keep table turn or change to another participant. Be informed your turn. The presentation will be evaluated and ranged with the several following aspects, namely, 1, communication effectivity 0 to 25%. 2, time management and efficiency 0 to 25%. 3, material understanding 0 to 25%. 4, slide presentation compiling 0 to 25%. And at the end of the session, the best presenter of each time will be selected. Therefore, let's make the best presentation as possible as you can. Dear audience, once more, I would like to tell you that please do not hesitate to contact us if you find any difficulties about the technical things. Well, dear audience, Because of some conditions, the governor of North Sumatra province cannot attend this event right now to give his opening speech. Therefore, let's keep on to the next agenda, which is to hear the opening speech by our special speaker, the Minister of Agriculture of Republic of Indonesia, who is represented by the Directorate General of Agricultural Facilities and Infrastructure, to the Honorable Insinyur Ali Jamil, MP, PhD. We really look forward to hearing from you. Time is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, we feel very sorry about the inconvenience. Now, we come to the next session, which is the presentations from our honorable keynote speakers. From this session onwards, my partner, Mr. Fajar Rezeki Ananda, will guide the agenda. To Mr. Fajar, time is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Shirley. I think it's only in the morning. So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's such an honor to be a moderator for this main event. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Medan Area University and of course Prima Indonesia University and of course the committee for supporting and help this conference happen. And I'd like to welcome all of the audience, the participants who are joining us from all over the world. But before that, I'd like to say both of this university, as we know, always supporting, always taken an active interest in agricultural issues, especially in Indonesia. Today, we have 4 world-renowned experts with us who will share with us, talk to us about the agricultural and agribusiness issues from the science of soil until the digitalized of marketing. Firstly, please allow me to introduce our Honorable Excellency Speaker. First, we have Professor Dr. MD Aminul Islam. Assalamualaikum, Professor. Professor Islam is currently...
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah. Sorry.
Professor Islam, may I call you Professor Islam?
Yes, thank you.
My pleasure. Professor Islam is currently working as a professor in the Faculty of Applied and Human Science in University, Malaysia. Professor Islam received the Raffles Education Founders Award for being the most deserving academic staff of Olympia College, Malaysia at 2006, Excellence Academic Support Award at 2009, the Best Lecture Award in 2010, the Best Supervisor Award in 2018 and 2019 for producing the most number of PhD graduates, and Research Excellence Award in 2020 at University Malaysia Perlis. And the next speaker, we have Professor Song Solim. Good afternoon, Professor Lim. I guess we have a different part of time between us. So I guess it's already in the afternoon right there. Okay, Professor Lim from Korean University is working as a professor in the Department of Food and Resources Economics at Korea University. Actually, everyone in the specialty on the agricultural trade knows Professor Lim, and even you do some research on agricultural products trade. Maybe you will find Professor Lim on his publication journals. Professor Lim is well expert in food international trade and negotiation, and he's been a professor of agri-food trade since 2008. Then we have Associate Professor Dr. Nguyen Hoi Hia. Good afternoon, Professor Hia.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. In Vietnam, it's already in the morning, yeah. Okay. Professor, may I call you Professor Nghia or Professor Nguyen, sir?
Yeah, please call me Nghia.
Nghia. Okay, pardon me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Nghia from Kanto University, Division of Soil and Environmental Microbiology, Department of Soil Science. He has more than 40 journal publications, including translate in English and Vietnamese, awardee of scholarship from John Diller Fellow from Australia at 2018, Certificate of Recognition, 6th Annual International Scholar Research Exposition at Ohio United States University in 2014, the first prize for the Young and Deserving Scientist 2013 in Pajajaran University, and awardee of scholarship from German Academic Exchange Service, awardee of scholarship from Vietnam Ministry of Education. Thank you, Professor Nghia. Such an honor to have you with us. Then, the last but not least, we have Associate Professor Dr. Nalini Arumugam from University Sultan Zainul Abidin, Malaysia, Faculty of Agriculture and Biotechnology. I guess except I said Professor Nalini, one of presented the woman in here. She is achieving Anugerah Pengajaran Academic University at 2019, Anugerah Pengajaran Faculty Biosumber and Industri Makanan at 2018, Silver Medal Research and Innovation Week at 2017, the Best Paper Awards in 2011 and 2015. Okay. There is some case. Before we started, I want to inform you about the simple rules of this conference. First, each speaker will give us a 20 minutes presentations. And after all the speakers have given their presentation, I will open up the discussion. And that discussion will divide it into 2 sessions, contains two questions for each sessions. Before we started, I'd like to welcome the Governor of Sumatera Utara, Lieutenant General Purnawirawan Edi Rahmayadi, who will presented by. Okay. Please welcome Governor of Sumatera Utara.
Rahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya Edi Rahmayadi, Gubernur Sumatera Utara, menyambut baik konferensi internasional bertema bisnis, agribisnis, dan pertanian yang diselenggarakan oleh Universitas Medan Area. Seperti yang kita ketahui bersama, pandemi COVID-19 yang awalnya merupakan ancaman kesehatan telah berubah menjadi ancaman sosial dan di dalamnya ekonomi secara global. Bahkan dalam konteks pertanian mandiri, pandemi COVID-19 telah menguji siapan berbagai negara untuk menjaga pemenuhan kebutuhan pangannya tetap dalam kondisi stabil. Dalam skala regional, Provinsi Sumatera Utara telah membuktikan bahwa salah satu kebijakan pemulihan yang efektif mendorong perekonomian adalah penguatan pada sektor pertanian, tidak hanya menjaga ketahanan pangan, pengembangan pertanian yang inovatif berbasis teknologi, juga terbukti mampu membangkitkan perekonomian masyarakat dan daerah. Untuk itu, saya berharap melalui konferensi ini akan terjadi pertukaran informasi yang akan menjembatani transfer teknologi hasil penelitian secara internasional dan dapat menjadi referensi bagi kita semua dalam upaya meningkatkan efektivitas kebijakan untuk mendorong pemulihan ekonomi yang sempat terpuruk akibat pandemi COVID-19. Sukses selalu. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua.
Okay, what a great speech from our governor. So we don't want to cut anymore. So let's start it. First, we will listening to Professor Islam. Professor Islam will share with us about the digitalized of marketing. So, Professor, time is yours.
All right, thank you, Brother Faisal Riziki. Am I right?
Yeah.
All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Assalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi asma'in. His Highness Lieutenant General H.A.D. Rahmayadi, the Governor of North Sumatra. His Highness the Minister of Agriculture, Dr. H. Sharul Yasin Nampo. The Honorable Rector of Medan Area University, Professor Dr. Dadan Ramzan. The Honorable Chairman of the Foundation of Medan Area University, Dr. S.M. Evin Siregar. The Honorable Director of the Graduate Program of Medan Area University, Professor Dr. I.R. Ajjaratna Astuti, my mentor and my big brother, the steering committee chairman, Professor I.R.H. Zulkarnain Lubis, the keynote speakers, namely Professor Dr. Song Sulim, Professor Dr. Nguyen Koinia, and Professor Dr. Nalini Arumugam. Dear participants, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum and Selamat pagi to Indonesia. But first of all, I would like to thank you, the organizing committee, for inviting me as a keynote speaker, and especially Sister Anga and Dr. Zulkarnain for keeping in touch and allowing me to share some of my ideas. All right, so the topic given to me today is digital marketing and business innovation in the 21st century. Let me share the screen, then I will start my presentation since the time is short. Okay. All right, that's the topic of discussion for me today. Digital marketing and business innovations in the 21st century. Now, the world have witnessed 4 industrial revolutions so far. The first industrial revolution was in the 18th century. That was driven by water and steam power, which had driven the introduction of mechanical production. And then in the 19th century, the world witnessed the second industrial revolution that was driven by the electrical energy, and that has impacted a lot on the mass production achieved by division of labor. And then in the 20th century, the world has witnessed the third industrial revolution that was characterized by electronics and IT revolution. And we have seen the flourishing IT applications everywhere, every industry, the beginning of it. And then this century, 21st century, the world have witnessed the fourth industrial revolution, which is driven by cyber physical system. So everything is now cyber, and that's where the digital marketing comes in. So I'll be focusing on that. But one thing we have to remember, that the fourth industrial revolution had changed the world forever. The way we used to work before, the way we used to live before, the way we used to work in the office before, the way we used to mingle around, the way we used to socialize and network with people. Everything had changed forever because of fourth industrial revolution, the advancement of technology driven by the cyber physical systems. And the impact can be seen easily in the society now. Family, when we sit together, you can see in the picture, the mom, dad, and kids sitting together, but no one is talking to each other. They're all on the electric devices. Friends, sitting in a college or university cafeteria, not talking to each other. They're all talking with the machines. And even if you, surprisingly, if you see at home, while we are sitting in a dinner or lunch program, the grandma is bringing food, but nobody is interested to see what kind of foods are served on the table. Rather, everybody is busy with the electronic devices they have. So that actually gives the room for marketers to take advantage of these advanced technologies and get involved in digital marketing. Let me show you some data. The data shows that in the world, youth ages 15 to 24 are the most connected group, having 71% online compared to 48% of total population in the world. Children and adolescents under 18 accounts for an estimated 1 of the 3 internet users in the world. We sometimes get surprised to see a kid who is 3 or 4 years old can open the mobile and can choose the video he or she wants to watch. So that's the kind of world we are living now with the advanced technology and the result of fourth industrial revolution. Of course, there are many uncertainties also brought in by the fourth industrial revolution. We say that this fourth industrial revolution has brought about tsunami changes, and that's what I said, that life has changed forever, right? And it is characterized by volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Coupled with the COVID-19, things even have become more complicated, as was spoken by the governor of North Sumatra earlier indicated, all right? So these are the results of fourth industrial revolution. It's a small picture that we can see here. The Uber or Grab become the largest taxi company without any taxis. Alibaba Group become the world's most valuable retailer without any inventory. The Facebook become the most popular media owner without any content. And Netflix become the world's largest movie house without any cinemas. So that's the kind of thing that we see, and we see the market for producers, manufacturers, the digital marketing, that's where it plays role. You can see that how things are happening due to the advancement of technology and the fourth industrial revolutions. And definitely with COVID-19, the space has been accelerated. So digital marketing is basically an online marketing strategies that are used to identify, build, and target an audience to turn into paying customers. So that is what is very important. When we have physical sales, most of the sales are on credit. The companies are not sure when they will get the payment. But in digital marketing, the payment is on the spot. And that's what we expect from finance individuals. The cash payment, right? That's what we enjoy much, right? So digital marketing channels are characterized by there are many different channels are there. Search engine optimization, which I'll talk quite a lot about it today. Email marketing, content marketing, social media marketing, pay-per-click, affiliate marketing, and so much of it being embedded in the digital marketing strategies. Why companies are turning into digital marketing? Because the cost is low, the reach is higher. Even for Medan, you just put it up in a digital format, the whole world can see it. Potential for viral content, right? It goes viral, even though you are targeting few hundred people, but it may reach few billion people, depending on the kind of materials, the content that you prepare. The result can be easily measurable. We can keep up with the competition, and the campaign can be very much personalized. So this is what we see. Facebook seems to be the most popular one in the social context, okay? Followed by Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and other social platforms that we have available now. And you can see the spending in digital marketing in the world. It is expected that $526 billion would be spent in digital marketing worldwide by marketers. I have to go a little first, since the time is quite short. All right, industry-wise, average cost per action, if you look at, the highest is in education when it comes to digital marketing, followed by B2B, and then technology and home goods and so on. This is the revenues earned by the Facebook, the ad revenue. Quite surprising, right? It started with 2016 was 12 billion, which has now reached to 25 billion in 2019, and expected to grow up to 30 billion by this year. So Facebook alone, there's only one social media. We are not talking about other media. Facebook alone are making a revenue of 25 billion per year by getting involved in digital marketing. And this is even the consumer cost driven by mobile reach. When customers are reached through communication, even they get directly connected and communicated by the marketers. So this is what is happening now. When we are communicating, if you're a marketer, then we have to understand this. Average e-commerce order by device, iPhone is the highest, 117 billion per year, followed by Android and Windows. So these are the tools used by the consumers, the customers. They prefer using these tools to order, okay, the product and all that. So the open rate by number of words in the email subject lines, it looks like 6 to 10 words are the most popular one, 21%, 21%, 6 to 10 words. So if you are designing any social marketing promotion campaign, so that's the guideline, there's something that we have to keep in mind. And if you follow by the quick responses online. So it looks like the online live chat is the most popular one, followed by the chat box, face-to-face, and other elements that we have. So if you are thinking of getting involved in digital marketing, then these are the information that you have to keep in mind. This slide is very important, which will help in designing digital marketing campaign. Let us look at some of the technologies for digital marketing and business innovations. The first one, of course, artificial intelligence. Earlier, Professor Dr. Zulkarnain Lubis was arguing that artificial intelligence and automation, these are the two that is driving the whole digital marketing efforts. Okay, so artificial intelligence, as we understand, it helps marketer to take them in a step further for deeper insight and analysis. It can tap into abundance of computer data hidden in the keyword searches, social profiles, and online data. When the consumer or customer getting access in online, the artificial intelligence will help us to get the relevant, important information that is needed for a marketer to design digital marketing. The artificial intelligence also helps marketers to know exactly what consumers are thinking, saying, and feeling. How do we do that? I will show you in another slide afterwards. Accelerated mobile pages, that was the case before. We have AMP that used to help us on the load time of 5 seconds or less. But now we have progressive web apps, PWA, that straddles the line between regular website and a computer application. So the PWA actually even offers first an easy-to-use platform regardless of operating systems or hardware that you use. It doesn't matter whether we use a tablet, or you use a computer, mobile, or use any other device. PWA make it similar for all kind of devices when it comes to electronic communication. And of course, the VR and AR, right? Anything that we create now, it goes together, the video and audio decoding. That makes it very impactful to the customers. And then the next one is blockchain. It is an electronic ledger, right? Every customer can be segmented by creating blocks. Okay, so every order can be segmented. All right, so blockchain is used basically to keep tracks of the client information and consumer behavior. So the blockchain could retain the data, and it can help us to analyze the consumer and customer needs and their behavior while they purchase online. The next one is Internet of Things. Basically, the Internet of Things, or IoT market, which includes the hardware, software, system integration, data, and telecom services, expected to grow about 520 billion by this year, which was only 235 billion in 2017. All right, so you can see the IoT is becoming one of the most tools in making digital marketing. Now, let us look at some of the digital marketing trends in the 21st century. First of all, inclusivity. When we go for physical marketing, it does have limitations. The person must travel to the physical location. The person must have some transport, some assistance are needed. But when you are going for digital marketing, it includes everybody. The person who cannot work, the person is bedridden, even older person, somebody who is physically disabled can even be reached by using digital marketing. The feature snippets. You can find things with a simple search. For example, like here, I have shown you an example. I have written how to design a website, and below 1 second time, I got 6.5 billion results. So that's what we have with search engine optimization software. So we have many search engine optimization softwares available that help us to find anything we want. Snippets are basically a small keyword that we use to search for products or any ideas. Sustainability. So when you go online, you have time to think about making a decisions. So customers are aware of environmentalism. So they do not want companies to harm the earth that we live in. So we have a choice. We have a choice, and we have a time to think before we make a purchase. And now we do have also another mechanism, ad blockers. If you would like to shop online, if you want to promote online, you can block the ad and you can continue doing what you would like to get. All right. customer segmentation. The idea is very simple. Instead of a small number of large marketing campaign, that's what you do most of the time when it comes to physical, but when it comes to digital marketing, the behavior is different. It is about large number of small marketing campaign targeting specific audiences. So we go on ad hoc projects, small marketing campaigns, but very frequently. So that's how we reach most number of customers worldwide. We can even have local search engine optimization. We all use location devices, and with that, we can localize our marketing efforts. The digital marketing also has great influence on the generation Z, right? So youngers are more prone to digital marketing now. So this is somewhere we can easily tap the market, and we can connect it. As earlier I have shown, 71% of the generation Z are the users of mobile technologies and other online devices. So these are the few innovative companies. I'm towards the end of my presentation. This is one, Twilio, the facilitated face-to-face communication during an era of social distancing and global lockdown. While we are having COVID, we have seen that, right? So Twilio came in, and they help us for face-to-face communication. Platforms are available. The Cloudflare started providing free security during this insecure time. Elastic making search faster and more secure, and there are many other companies came in during this COVID time. Now, we lived in the normal era, and then now we are living in the new normal era. And once this era ends, we are going to go into the next normal. We know how was the normal, and we know now how is the new normal, but nobody is sure how is going to be the next normal. But one thing is very sure, our life has totally changed forever. We will never get back to the normal life that we had before. And thus, the opportunity for marketers to get involved in digital marketing, reaching billions of customers worldwide, become very important for us. With that, thank you very much again, organizing committee, for inviting me, and I wish all the best for this conference, and hope sometime I will have the chance to visit University Medan area. Thank you very much. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Professor Isman. Yeah, that's so enlightening presentation from you, that we know we have to wake up our new era of artificial intelligence, right? And it's very shocked when we heard that ads revenue of Facebook alone is significantly increasing. That's what a shock. And I believe movies competing already begun, ride-hailing competing already begun, and social media competing already begun. And I believe one day agricultural products trade will begin sooner or later. But before we reach the second presenter, second speaker from Professor Song, we have a speech to hear from Honorable Insinyur Ali Jamil, MP, PhD, were presented by Minister of Agriculture. Mr. Ali, we welcome you, please. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Maaf, mohon perkenan. Saya menggunakan bahasa Indonesia, bisa ada terjemah atau bagaimana? Izin karena Pak Dirjen Mr. Ali Jamil sedang dalam tugas ke Mojokerto, jadi kami mewakili terkait dengan acara hari ini. Yang saya hormati Rektor dan seluruh sivitas akademik Universitas Medan Area, serta Rektor dan seluruh sivitas akademik Universitas Prima, pelaksana internasional Conference Business, Agribusiness, dan Agriculture 2021, dosen dan akademisi dari perguruan tinggi negeri, swasta di dalam negeri dan luar negeri, peneliti dari lembaga-lembaga penelitian di dalam dan luar negeri, anggota organisasi profesi, para undangan yang berbahagia. Marilah yang pada kesempatan yang baik ini pertama-tama kita panjatkan puji syukur kehadirat Allah SWT atas segala limpahan rahmat karunia-Nya sehingga kita dapat bersilaturahim pada kesempatan yang baik ini dalam pelaksanaan International Conference Business ini. Izinkan kami menyampaikan terkait dengan paradigma baru pertanian. Seperti kita ketahui bahwa tujuan berkelanjutan SDGs adalah ada 5 komponen: people, planet, prosperity, peace, dan partnership. People, kita mengakhiri kemiskinan dan kelaparan dalam segala hal serta kesetaraan, melindungi sumber daya alam dan iklim planet untuk generasi yang akan datang, prosperity, kehidupan yang sejahtera dan selaras dengan alam, peace, damai, adil, dan bebas dari rasa takut, partnership adalah kemitraan untuk mencapai tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan. Kondisi demand dan supply untuk bahan pertanian ada trade-off terkait dengan sistem pertanian. Di Indonesia sampai saat ini petani kecil masih basis prakteknya tradisional. Petani rata-rata sudah berumur tua. Sampai saat ini teknologi masih kurang, profitasnya masih rendah, dan masalah-masalah perbenihan juga masih menjadi hal yang kita harus sikapi terkait dengan sistem pertanian kita. Namun di sisi lain konsumen ingin memadai dan terjangkau, sehat dan bergizi, aman dan beragam, dan peningkatan konsumsi produk ternak serta pasokan yang berkelanjutan. Kita ketahui bahwa dampak pandemi adanya COVID ini terdapat beberapa hal yang harus kita pastikan, bahwa adanya perubahan lingkungan strategis, peringatan musim kemarau, ancaman krisis pangan, terganggunya ketersediaan pangan bagi 273 juta jiwa, adanya pembatasan ekspor pangan global, restriksi karena adanya pandemi di masing-masing negara, adanya perang dagang antara Cina, India, dan Amerika Serikat. Ini memaksa kita untuk mempertahankan ketahanan pangan nasional. Bila mana tidak kita lakukan ketahanan pangan nasional, sudah otomatis akan terganggu produksi pertanian akibat pembatasan pergerakan orang, terganggunya distribusi pangan karena adanya pembatasan sosial berskala besar, daya beli masyarakat yang turun karena adanya pandemi, dan diakibatkan juga karena terjadinya pengurangan pemutusan hubungan kerja. Untuk itu, Kementerian Pertanian melakukan kebijakan dan penerapan program Kementerian Pertanian. Yang pertama adalah meningkatkan mobilitas pangan pokok, memperlancar distribusi pangan, mempermudah akses transportasi, menjaga stabilisasi harga, dan mengembangkan buffer stock untuk intervensi pasar, baik operasi pasar atau ekspansi pasar, dengan target akhir adalah tetap menjaga peningkatan kesejahteraan petani. Pembangunan pertanian, saat ini kita menuju pertanian maju, mandiri, modern dengan 4 hal yang akan kita dorong: produksi dan profitas, gerakan nasional peningkatan profitas, produksi dan ekspor, peningkatan populasi ternak, pengembangan sumber daya manusia, family farming, dan pertanian masuk sekolah. Sudah pasti untuk bisa menuju pertanian maju modern, mandiri dan modern, kita harus rendah biaya, dan kita memfasilitasi dengan pembiayaan melalui kredit usaha rakyat dengan bunga yang disubsidi, pengembangan kawasan berbasis korporasi, bantuan subsidi pertanian tepat sasaran. Selanjutnya adalah mekanisme dan riset yang memang menjadi hal untuk menuju pertanian mandiri dan modern, pengembangan dan penerapan mekanisasi pertanian, akselerasi pemanfaatan inovasi teknologi, dan yang terakhir adalah ekspansi pertanian melalui optimalisasi lahan pertanian yang lahan marginal melalui penyediaan air dan tata kelola air, baik penyediaan irigasi, embung, dan bangunan air. Untuk mengimplementasikan implementasikan pertanian maju modern, Kementerian Pertanian melakukan cara berpikir, cara bertindak, yaitu peningkatan kapasitas produksi, diversifikasi pangan, penguatan cadangan dan sistem logistik, dan pengembangan pertanian modern, dan yang terakhir adalah melalui gerakan 3 kali ekspor. Kita di Kementerian Pertanian menjaga ketersediaan pangan dalam kondisi pandemi COVID ini, yaitu dengan 5 cara kita lakukan. Peningkatan produksi pangan dengan memberikan stimulus, antara lain adalah relaksasi kur, mempercepat bantuan sarana prasarana, bantuan subsidi pengangkutan pangan dari daerah yang surplus dan defisit, sehingga pasokan pangan dapat menjangkau seluruh wilayah Indonesia, penggerakan pasar mitra tani yang ada di seluruh Indonesia untuk memastikan bahwa stok pangan aman, kerjasama dengan penyedia proyek ataupun distribusi terkait dengan distribusi pangan, dan optimalisasi pekarangan lahan pertanian pangan keluarga untuk bisa memastikan stok pangan bisa kita amankan. Untuk era digitalisasi, untuk proses pelaporan dan sistem kendali, Kementerian Pertanian mengembangkan Agriculture War Room untuk sebagai salah satu inovasi berbasis artifisial dan Internet of Things, memberikan kemudahan bagi pimpinan untuk mengambil keputusan dari level paling di pusat sampai ke daerah, dan ini untuk memantau kegiatan budidaya pertanian dari proses hulu sampai hilir, dan monitoring ketersediaan distribusi sarana produksi, dan sudah pasti nanti untuk distribusi proses produksi. Digitalisasi pertanian, kita melakukan penerapan IoT, robot construction, artificial intelligence untuk pengembangan AWR, penerapannya melalui Internet of Things, robot construction, dan artificial intelligence, dan kita bisa pantau seluruh proses pelaksanaan pembangunan pertanian dari Agribusiness Forum. Arahan Pak Menteri Pertanian dalam proses petani milenial di era teknologi digital, sudah pasti pembangunan pertanian ke depan harus mengandalkan petani muda dengan teknologi digital terutama sebagai strategi untuk memperkuat produksi dan distribusi. Agripreneur muda yang melek teknologi adalah potensi dan mitra strategis memecahkan kendala distribusi serta lemahnya akses pasar petani selama ini. Saya semakin percaya anak muda yang mau terjun di bidang pertanian bisa punya peluang kehidupan dan ekonomi yang lebih baik apabila dengan memanfaatkan teknologi yang tersedia, maka dunia akan dalam genggaman kalian. Ini statement Pak Menteri Pertanian. Bertambahnya startup milenial ini merupakan bukti Kementerian Pertanian serius melakukan percepatan regenerasi petani. Kita juga melakukan optimalisasi lahan dengan multi komoditas integrated farming dengan basis jagung yang sedang kita kembangkan saat ini, dan kondisi iklim serta perkiraan musim hujan juga menjadi hal yang harus kita pastikan untuk bisa memprediksi produksi dengan catatan-catatan kondisi curah hujan yang memang terdapat informasi yang kita sampaikan di sini. Upaya Kementerian Pertanian dalam menghadapi dampak perubahan iklim sudah pasti melalui adaptasi dan mitigasi, pembangunan secara masif embung dan untuk menampung air hujan bila mana menghadapi musim kemarau. Sudah pasti yang berikutnya adalah penghematan irigasi, hemat air melalui irigasi perpipaan, irigasi tetes, drip irrigation, perluas aplikasi mulsa di lahan kering untuk mengurangi penguapan air, perbanyakan benih secara masif, utamanya untuk varietas-varietas yang toleran kepada kekeringan dan varietas-varietas yang tahan terhadap rendaman banjir, pengembangan secara masif unit pengolah pupuk organik untuk aplikasi bahan organik untuk meningkatkan kapasitas tanah menahan air, water holding capacity, Yang keenam, diversifikasi pangan lokal, mengurangi ketergantungan padi, karena padi butuh air banyak, mulai fokus pada padi-padi yang memang fokus komoditas yang non padi seperti jagung, sukun, singkong, pisang, dan lain-lain yang relatif sedikit membutuhkan air. Perkuat sistem integrasi pangan dan ternak. Dengan sistem integrasi ini petani memiliki opsi-opsi budidaya untuk terus berproduksi di tengah cuaca ekstrim. Untuk mitigasinya kita lakukan pengembangan kawasan kebun pekarangan, kopi, mangga, lengkeng, dan lain-lain, perbanyak penyerapan CO2 dan mengurangi pemanasan global. Yang berikutnya, rehabilitasi lahan-lahan kritis dalam rangka mengurangi pemanasan global dengan tanaman buah-buahan, mengurangi food losses, mengurangi efisiensi dan meningkatkan efisi gas rumah kaca, bimtek dan adaptasi migrasi iklim. Selanjutnya, terakhir, pertanian adalah penyumbang tertinggi pertumbuhan ekonomi di tengah pandemi. Sektor pertanian telah menyumbang tertinggi terhadap pertumbuhan ekonomi nasional dalam posisi mengalami perlambatan seperti yang disampaikan oleh Pak Presiden. Demikian yang bisa kami sampaikan, kurang lebihnya mohon maaf, dan saya kembalikan lagi ke moderator. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much. Presented by Ministry of Republic Indonesia. Well, right now we are entering the next speaker. The next speaker will share us about the international trade and food system. As we know, the rising world population is followed by the rising of demand of food. There is no rich nation that abandons its agricultural, especially when back on days everything is shut down, everything is locked down. So every eyes on the world sees strategic advantage on this food system. So, good afternoon, Professor Lim.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, Professor Lim, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for having me. I'd like to send my warm greeting from Seoul, Korea, and I feel honored to be part of this very important event, and I would like to share some of my research with you. Also, I'm looking for learning from your experience and your research as well. Let me bring this up. Okay, I went up the mountain nearby my the apartment, and this is what Korea look like at this season. I don't know about Indonesia, but I hope you can feel that this is the highlight of the autumn season, and I like to show you that the photo. Hope you enjoy some the surrounding. Today's topic is about international trade. That's one area, especially I will focus on some agricultural trade. Then after that, what would be the food systems, especially we are talking about this climate change. Now it's a conference of the Party 26 is going on in Glasgow, UK, United Kingdom. And what implication we can find from those climate change actions as agriculture sector. I want to introduce what would be the Korea's the path for that goal. Year 2000 was one of the biggest recession in economic output and global trade. The world average dipped into minus 3.5. And luckily, Korea is about minus 1.1%. But if you look at the global merchandise trade, include the agricultural products, that is about minus 5.3%. But this year and next year, we have some a little bit brighter the forecast. Well, but this is one thing I find. If you look at the the sectoral, performance of international trade, the agriculture sectors, as you see, even in the midst of this recession or some COVID-19 pandemic, we see that agricultural trade actually record positive growth, 3.5% in average. So I would say that agriculture sector is very resilient in terms of their trade performance. If you look at the top 5 agri-food exporters, the EU is even 2020, they have a positive growth, same as United States. But if you look at the China, that is only we see some decline at their positions, at the volume of their export. If you look at the importing side, we see some remarkable growth in China. So China kept importing agricultural products from the world market in the midst of this pandemic. This is also true for United States and European Union. What opportunity we face under this trade development? I would like to point out the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, and this RCEP will be effective from next year, January. So according to the Peterson Institute for International Economics, the increase in export among the member countries amount to about $519 billion US dollars, and national income also increased by $186 billion US dollars. Not only by the output or the income, we can expect from this regional integration in terms of their supply chain efficiency, or sometimes that can be restructured about their trade relationship. I'm anxious to see what would be the Korea's role if we see this kind of a food chain, the restructuring. Maybe Indonesia or other ASEAN countries, their structure may be affected by this RCEP. That would be our future research topic. If you look at this map, Brunei and Laos, the Vietnam, Thailand, and Singapore, they approved this RCEP, along with China, Japan, and Australia and New Zealand. So 10 countries will start this RCEP from next year, and other signatory countries, including Korea, will follow up. If you look at this RCEP effect for Korea only, this Ministry of Trade, Industry, and Energy in this country, they forecast their estimate of RCEP effect. Next 20 years, RCEP will bring up some $6.5 million, that decrease in our domestic agriculture production. So as a net importing countries of agriculture products, Korean farmers are vulnerable to, compete with those agriculture products imported from the RCEP the countries. But I want to point out some challenges. The other side of the coin. What would be the challenges? What we can expect from this trade development? Well, I can point out those Trump administration in the United States. They had head-to-head, dispute with China, and since 2018, we see this trade war, or some people call it tariff war, between these two giant economies. And now we are here. Now China tended to reduce their MFN rates, so we can expect that this situation will be improved. But as a net importing country's point of view, or other small economies' point of view, we can say that kind of a trade dispute in the world market tended to increase those this stability of world economy or international trade. So we need to keep eyes on this development. And this is also true for China's, the anti-dumping duties against the Australian products, barley and the wine, for instance. This is what I just copied from the WTO website. You can see even the anti-dumping duties and countervailing duties against the Australian products, barley and wine. Okay, that is also formally tabled on WTO dispute panel. Now Australia, in response, they imposes anti-dumping duties on Chinese products as well. So this kind of a dispute now is going on. Even today, in the middle of pandemic, we see this will stir some instability in international trade. So my personal research interest, with one of my students, I'm doing this analysis using this almost the ideal demand system. We estimate how Chinese tariff will create, market restructuring. When we did this modeling exercise, 1% increase in tariff on the Australian wine, that will create we call it the trade dispersion effect. Trade would be diverted from Australia to other countries. So we found from this research that when China imposed 1% of tariff on Australian wine, then what Australia's export to China dropped by almost 9%. This is the marginal effect. But if you look at the other competitors in the Chinese market, France, Chile, and in the order of that, they will gain the market share to China. It's about France case is about 3.5%. So this anti-dumpings or countervailing duties create some restructuring of trade. For the example of wine, Australian wine, we can confirm that. The second topic, food systems. What would be the food systems under the pressure of climate change? And our previous speakers also mentioned that, especially Professor Islam talked about those digital transformation. Well, digital or the artificial intelligence or new technologies, they will be also in line with climate change. Otherwise, our farm sectors cannot be sustainable. So how we can ensure this sustainability, even farm sectors, that would be the daunting task before us. Okay? Not only Korea, but the Indonesian farmers, also Australian farmers are struggling to, make sure that, their goal to reduce their carbon emission from their soil. Okay? So here, this is a little data studied about this emission level by the agri-food sectors. That is about 16.5 billion ton, and agriculture accounts for about 31% of total the man-made emission. And we can divide this 31% into the segment or market activity. It's crop production, livestock production account for 7.2 billion tons, and land use about 3.5. And lastly, this is a very interesting studies. This is about food chain process. How food chain are responsible for the emission. They find that this is about 5.8 billion tons worldwide, and this is their you can find from this reference their estimation. And the forest rent, I believe Indonesia has very high interest in this topic. Well, the left-hand side is something like agricultural land related emission. If you look at the right-hand side of panel, that is a food supply channel of the emission of greenhouse gases. Even we consider that agriculture is mainly what livestock sectors are major drivers of this emission level. So this also sheds some light on Korean agriculture, how we respond to this the climate change issues from our livestock sectors. That is the very important homework for us. And this is the over the time, over years, the development of that. Even per capita emission level is gradually declining since 1990. That is good, but still overall level of the emission is high, or they stay high. And by continent, Asia, this is you and I, the Asia is responsible for the very high level of emission levels. So that is the great challenges for Asian agriculture in the long-term period ahead. By countries, China is number one, followed by India and Indonesia. If you look at the Indonesia's cases, this land use change, they are the major explanation for this emission. So that could be the very important signal of agricultural policy, maybe in Indonesia, how you can accommodate those emissions from your agricultural policy or farmland policies, etc. Korea's story, if you look at the all industry in Korea, energy sectors is the major the emitters of greenhouse gases. On the other hand, if you look at the agricultural sector, it's small. They account for only about 3% of total national emission level. Nevertheless, as I said, we need to deal with this livestock emission level as well. Rice is methane, the gas is like a CH methane, the emission level from our rice. That is a challenging issue as well. Okay. This would be the true for the other Asian countries which produce rice as a staple crop. So we proclaim this net zero, the CO2 emission by 2050. Okay, our president, went up to those COP26, and we signed that. Okay, what is the schedule? What Korean government are planning to do? If you look at this one, by 2030, we need to reduce our emission level, but 23 to 2050, this is the one that we have to get to net zero. How to do it? Well, we are not sure how we can do it, but at least we can trust technological development, R&D activities. This is extremely important. How we can ensure this R&D and those innovations will help us to get into this net zero positions. Secondly, how Korea's farm policies or national policies would contribute to achieving this net zero. I think that two aspects should be the necessary and sufficient condition for reaching that the virtual goal. Well, climate smart agriculture. Everybody talk about this climate smart agriculture. Then definitely we need that. But this time I want to emphasize this first part, human capital. We need to bring up young generation, people who can easily adopt new innovation, such that they can fight against this climate change challenges. This, I think, that's why universities, education, institutions, they have to the foster those young minds. That is I think the key to do this climate action. And digital transformation, Professor Islam mentioned that already, so I don't have to repeat here. So what would be the sustainable food systems? I'd like to point out three issues in this conference. Food quality and safety would be very important in the future. And now we experience these international disruptions of supply chain. So local supply network should be strengthened. And digital innovation, yes. So consumers want this safe food more and more, and quality of food. So we need to address those demand. So while we meet this food systems compatible with climate change, then the other side, we have to meet the consumers' demand for that area. Consumers want to know where these products come from, traceability, like what we just learned about blockchain technology type of things. The traceability in Korea, if you have a chance to visit some supermarket in Korea, you can easily check, there are some products under this traceability regulation. And local network, but we need to keep eyes on now this is a more flexible and multiple form of network, or local substitutes has a greater role in our supply chain. But there is a trade-off. If you do this local sourcing strategy, we expect higher cost of that. So how we can strike a balance with this local sourcing versus maintaining efficiency, economic efficiency, that is very important. And digital transformation, as mentioned. Okay, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Professor Lim. That's sharp analysis from the food system. And of course, we a lot talking about the emission and climate change. Glad we have Minister of Republic Indonesia here with us. Hopefully that's a suggestion for make a regulation for our new can build a new impact for the world. Okay, the next speaker we have Professor Hia will join us, will share the crucial part of the farms. It means about the soil, because we want constantly productive of our farming, so we can abandon about the soil. So, Professor Hia.
Okay, yeah.
Time is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much for your introductions, and yeah, good morning everyone, and these dear distinguished professors and lecturers, and also the rectors of University of Medan Areas, Indonesia, and dear professor from who are just keynote speaker from Indonesia and also outside Indonesia, from like South Korea and also from Malaysia, and dear distinguished delegates who are attending this conference, and my name is Wing Khoi, so I'm the lecturers at the Department of Soil Sciences, colleagues of Agriculture and Control University. So today I'm very happy to be a keynote speaker for our international conference in business and agribusiness and agriculture. And thank to also Mr. Ivan for also contacting me and also for inviting me to join this honors international conference. And its time is not so, it's really the strictly limit, so I have to talk a bit more, sorry for. So my presentation is about the crucial role of the biological life in the soil. And as we have just three sections, three lectures is about different aspects from my field of study. So, so for now, we to understand is what's the biological life in the soil and why is it their important role and what they have the functions in our human health and also for the ecosystem. For my informations, I just pass it. So maybe many of you don't know so much about what is soil, but the soil is very, it is the base environments and is everything is come from the soil. But many people is really don't know what is the soil, and it's really soil is has been forgotten about their role and their function for for human beings and also for animals or every above ground living organisms. So I can say that the soil is a living dynamic system. It's including the organics and inorganic components. For example, like we have in soil, the inorganic component, we have like 55% of minerals and 25% of air and the waters and the organic matters. And beside that, we also have the organics. This means the living organism, including the soil, animals, soil faunas, and soil fauna. It means that we can see by naked eyes, and but for the soil microorganisms, we cannot see by the naked eyes, but by the helpful of the microscopics. And the question is, why do we care for the soil and the soil life? Because there's these pictures, and you can see that the soil is the tendings with the life. So it means they have a loss of life is under our beneath our feet, but we don't know, and we forgot it. And because mainly what we see and what we see from the above world, for example, like the plant, the animals, the people, we can see, but for in the soil is so many living organisms there, but we don't see because of many people, they don't work with the soil, and just a farmer. But some farmers, they also don't know how the functions of the soil microorganism. So soil, they has the quarters of our planet biodiversity, and we can say that is the most diversity ecosystem on our planet. And in one tablespoon of the healthy soil, we have the amounts of organism is more than the human beings living on our planet. And also for the soil, it is the play for everything, especially for the food. This means that from the crops, for they feed the animals and they feed the human being, and they keep our societies becomes sustainable. And some reason we should know why we have to care to the soil and the life besides what we can see from the pictures. And here we can see that is with the water we drink and the air we breathe, and the soil is one of the most important natural resources. And this means that the 1 centimeter or 1 centimeter of the soil from it takes about like 100 to 1,000 years to have for cultivation of the plant or for animals or some others. And we need to protect the soil because we need the healthy soil, and also we need to have the management strategies wisely. And because the healthier the soil of the soil is mean the healthier of the products and that come from the soil, especially for agricultural products. And all we need is nowadays is the healthy food. And but for the healthy food, we need to have the healthy soil. But for the soil, they need more than just they feed us. So it means that the process in the soil must be a very long time to be completed. So it means that we have to respect, and we have to understand, and we have to know the processes taking in the soil. And the soil is host the cultures of our planet's biodiversity, and it's a lot of kind of medicine products is also come from the soil microorganism, for example, like fungi, bacteria, or actinomyces. And the soil is one of the nature most complex ecosystems, so it contains the rate of the organism and with the interact. And contribute to the global cycle that make all lives possible. And the people, they also can see that the soil is also the stomach of our earth. This means that they consuming, they digesting, and also they recycling nutrients and organisms. A lot of my organism is there, and we need to have to protect it. And so, what is the soil biological life? So, it's in this figure you can see that's under the root of the plant and the mushroom, and we have the tremendous populations of the soil microorganisms. We have the big size, and we have different size, different shape, different colors, and different functions of the soil organism in soil. So the definition we can see that this all organisms. So it means that the living thing which live during all or parts of their life cycle on the surface or in the soil, and through their various lifestyles. So it means that some they live sometime in the soil, but some they have a home life in the soil, and they improve the soil properties and ecosystem. They become the ecosystem services, the resource and supply and biological regulation, and also generally facilitates for the plant growth and development. And in soil, we have the wonderful, but it's really poorly known worldwide. So it's mean that there's many soil microorganisms there, but most of people and the farmer, they don't know it. And sometimes they look down the soil, and we think that the soil is very dirty, and we don't want to work with this, and because it's dirty and it's heavy work, but we don't know why we don't exploit the soil organism to work for us. So it means that when we really have a good understanding about the soil organism, they can work for us with the free. So it means we don't need to apply so much chemical fertilizer. We don't need to apply so much the chemical pesticide. It's very toxic for the soil organism, also for the human health. So and here we have this figure. We can see that there's many size, many kinds of the organism in the soil, and the millions of organisms live in the soil, and the soil organism is spanned from the microscopic, so we call the microorganisms. So it means we cannot see by eyes, but we can see where the microscopic, and the invertebrate, and also the arthropod organisms, such as the earthworm. The earthworm is the very good soil qualities indicator of the soil, and the varieties of soil organisms is called soil biodiversity. So it means many types, many kinds, many species of soil organisms. And it also can be measured by the numbers of species and the genus of these organisms. And biodiversity means the variation of all life forms in our planet. So, hopefully these lectures you also can understand, and we knows about the function of soil organism, and then we love them, and they work for us. And soil organism is extremely diverse. So we have like many kinds. For example, here we have the earthworm groups, and we have the round, the beetles, and the springtails. And in each groups, and we have the different size, different types of the appearances, and also different the types of the mouth, and many differences. And the soil biodiversity is so large, so that is also impossible to describe in the straight on all soil organisms at once, especially when they have like body size, the color, the shapes, and the movement, and the mouth status. And here we also can have like the viruses and the bacteria, the nematodes, and the kinds of soil faunas and the fungi and actinomyces, and so many soil organisms present in our soil. And with these figures, and we also can see that the distributions of the soil organism is different. It's different players and different habitats. Even they are in soil, but they reside in different places. And in soil, and we can thus the healthy soil is also have a very high water retention capacity. It's really good for the plant, and also for the climate, for our ecosystems, and to protect everything from the dry season, for example, in Vietnam or in tropical countries. And they also can have millions and billions of the individual bacteria, and they also all of the soil microbes in 1 acre its weight is more than 2 cows. So it means that in soil, in the healthy soil, we have it's very high the biomass of soil organisms. And for the earthworm population, is also they consume like 2 tons of trimatter per acres per year. And this is really they really digest, and also they mix, and they physics the earthworm cast into the soil is in that provides a high nutrition and for the soil and also for the plant, and that can reduce the chemicals, fertilizer or pesticide applications. And for the soil organism, is beside the component of the soil's formation, for example, like minerals, water, organic matters, and the air, and we have the soil flora. So it means we have the microflora like bacteria, fungi, actinomyces, and algae. And for the macroflora, like the root of the plant. And for the soil fauna, and we have the microbes of fauna, the protozoa and nematodes, and the other one is we have the earthworm, the mollusks, and also ant, etc. In soil, as I mentioned before, the biodiversity of the soil is overwhelming. It's any form of about biodiversity. So in one ram soil, we have the very many diversities of the organisms, and we have nematodes, microalgae, protozoa, fungi, actinomyces, and the bacteria, and they have so many functions, and we can exploit these organisms for many purposes, including like in agriculture, in medicine for the human, for the animals, and also for environmental protection. Here there are some representing living organisms in soil, for example, like earthworm and millipedes and the isopoda and mite and springtail and like podworms and nematodes and also the water bear. There's so many kinds of organisms in our soil, but they have so many good functions to to keep everything is balanced in the ecosystem and also provide nutrition and decomposing the organic matters in the soil. proteins and the fungi and also prokaryotes. And the important role of soil organisms, and we have the different size of soil organisms, so they also have too many different functions. For example, for the mega fauna with the big size, we can easily see by eyes, and they can help to the the turnover of the soil, and they dig the hole or the end or the channels, and they can help the gases and the water and nutrients transferring from the top to the lower tippers of the soil profile. And for the macro soil faunas, and like the earthworm, termite, ant, and millipedes, and the wood slides is helped for the drainage and the aeration. So they create very good soil structures, and also they have the like macropores and also the micropores that is good for the environmental circulations of the soil ecosystem. And for the mesofauna, also they have like biological regulators and also organic matter decomposition into release the nutrients and also to form the humus in the soil. And for the microorganisms and like bacteria and fungi, and they have very much responsible for the various biological like chemical processes, for example, like the turnover or carbon cycle, nitrogen, phosphorus, or sulfurs, or potassiums, and so many elements in our soil. So their function can be grouped in 5 different ways. The first one is decomposition of organic matter. So it means they decompose in all the living, the dead matters from like plants and crops and the animals, and they just release and turn over the nutrient to the soil, and for the others are living organism to uptake, and including the plant. And the nutrient cycling. So it means the microorganism in the soil, they also can have a good function in nutrient cycling. So it means they involve in many nitrogen cycling, including like carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfurs, and potassium, and many others, and in order to release the available forms of the nutrient for the living organism in soil and also in plant. And they also, to have very good, they create the macro pores and also the micropores by they forming the good channels, and that is also make the gases exchange the waters, and also nutrient exchange from the air to the upper layers of the soil. And another important role is the bioremediation. So it means the soil organism, they can decontaminate and also depollutant some organic or inorganic chemical toxics or pollutants in our soil to clean up, and it's very good function and to clean and to break down the chemicals in our soil. And another very important function for the plant and for the animals and even the human is the suppression of the soil-borne diseases and the pests from the soil. And because some soil microorganisms, they can have they produce a lot of like the antibiotics, and they produce the bioactive compound that is also inhibit the pathogens and also the insects from the soil. And in this figure, we can see that the soil organism distribution is different from the player to the player. So it means they just have agreement to live together, but they have different sides of the living place, and this means that some they can compete, but they have the good distributions and from the soil ecosystem. In the soil health is when the people mention about the soil health and also the soil quality, it means that we try to improve our soil biodiversity, and that is very important. And the role of soil fauna in the soil, we have so many soil fauna, so they live part times or they live the whole times of their life in the soil. And these so many, kind of insects, they lay the eggs in the soil, and then the eggs is become, transferred from many stages, and later on they become the adult. And with the adult, and they don't live in the soil anymore, but they live in a roundabout environment. And for this, living styles, and we also can exploit the soil microorganism or other organisms to biocontrol of these, insects. That's harmful for the plant. In the plant protection strategy, we also use the soil microorganism to reduce the populations of the insects or also the plant diseases. So for the role of soil fauna, they have organic matters, mineralization, and dynamics, and they have also support and regulate primary production and development of and maintain the soil structures. For the role of soil microorganisms, and they have so many functions, for example, like decomposition of organic matters and nutrient cycling and the humus formation. So it means after, at the end of the process of decomposition of organic matter, and they form the humus. And they also produce a lot of secondary metabolite, for example, like antibiotics, bioactive compound, and they use for biocontrol. And we can exploit for many microorganisms and to be the biofertilizer, biocomposting, and we can use the soil organism for microorganism for biodegradation to detoxify of the chemicals in the soil to clean up our soil, and to bioremediation also the same, and to maintain biological equilibrium. So it means they can consume each other and to keep everything is balances. And they use soil organism, microorganism for the pest control or for diseases control. And they produce a lot of phytohormone to have the plant growth promotion, improving the soil structures, and nitrogen, biological nitrogen fixation. So we have the two kinds. So it means the one with the leguminous plant, and they in symbiosis interaction with the root and the rhizobia bacteria in the soil, and to form the nodulate. And that is also provide a lot of nitrogen sources available for the plant to uptake. And in soil, as I mentioned, the soil is at a high potential for the microorganism to produce the antimicrobials. That is also good for human medicine, and the soil is the source of many medicine, and due to its remarkable microbial diversity. For example, like penicillin is come from penicillium, is also from the soil, and also from like streptomycin from Streptomyces is also living in the soil, and so many others. So many like over 500 antibiotics have been cultured from the soil microorganism. So it's been in the future, if the antibiotics will be resistant by microorganism in the human being bodies, and this means that we have to try to find the new kinds and varieties of the antibiotic, and it must become from the soil microorganisms. And with only the small percentage of the microbials in the soil, but it's having already identified. So it means in the future we have so many soil organism is still there. We have the high potential. It's used for medicine as a science to discover more about the soil microbes, and the future potential application to for example, like to use the Clostridia sporogenes is a kind of the anti-cancer agent. It's also come from the bacteria in the soil. This bacterium that is also live in the low oxygen environment, and also centers of the tumors is one of these environment. And the scientists already developed some tests about these microorganisms. And in future we also can have anti-depression is also come from the soil. And playing in the soil is help to vaccinate the children against the diseases by exposing them to the biodiversity that's present in the soil. And this is very good, and it's also already experiences and by the checking by many, children from the countryside who contact exposure a lot with the soil, the healthy soil, they also very healthy, say, compared to the children from the cities. They have less time to contact with the soil. And what else maybe in the future, discover the soil in the futures, and who will do so is maybe, many of you can choose to work with this. And the benefit of soil biodiversity, by soil biodiversity also to make the soil more healthy, and also to help the plant grows better, and to keep the human health better, and for the clean up the water or water purification, also reduce some compound causing the climate change, and they can reduce or mitigate adaptation. For the soil biodiversity, improvement is mean the way we can resolve everything. For this is a nature-based solution. They can support the nutrition for the plant and productivity, enhance water retention, improve the resilience against the pests and the diseases, and maintaining resources and ecosystem, and help to mitigate and adapt to climate change, and contribute to the remediating soil pollution, and also it's a source of medicines and support the human health, and form the soils and improving the soil structures. For the question is how we manage and how we use the management practices to improve the soil biological life. And we can see that we need to reduce the inversion of the tillage and the soil traffic. So it means no tills or reduce tillage is a good strategies to improve the soil life in our soil. The second one is increase the organic matter input, and the third one is the use of cover crops. It's very important, and they feed as a food for the soil organisms. And we must reduce the chemical pesticide and fertilizer uses, and provide a habitat for beneficial organisms in the soil. And the next one is we have to do the crop rotation, and to have to break down the soil-borne disease and pest disease life cycles, and improving the crop's health. And the last one is we have to have a good management nutrient strategies, and like carefully the plan of timing application methods, the quantities of the manure, the compost, and the fertilizers, and allow to meet the crop nutrient demand, and also to avoid the nutrient excesses. With the benefit of the no-tills in the soil life, and we can see with the no-tills we protect a lot of soil life, and the soil organism they make a lot of things for us. We don't need to spend money. We don't need to spend the energies for our plant, for our farm, but the soil organism they can do it. And the no-tills is maintain the soil quality, because because they disturb the soil, only minimize and allow the soil organism to develop. And no-till farming gives a friendly environment for the host benefits of the organism that enrich the soil through the shielding and the churning organic matter into the soil. And for the work of soil organisms, it's the amount of soil turnings and fertilizing and the treatment done by 2 African elephant per acre per year. But even those organisms work for us to be free. And soil organism can do most of work that the farmer attempt to do with the harmful machineries, and that destroy the soil and also contribute to the reduction of the carbon dioxide. And for the benefit of the conservation tillers, and we have like resource time and money, we can decrease the labor time, small family time, fewer process, less equipment, and reduce the fuels. And for the soil health, we improve the soil applications for the root to establish increasing the organic matters and feeding to the biological reducing of the soil erosion by 90%. And water, we can preserve more waters availability for the plant and for animals, and reduce the sediment loading, improve the water clarities, and reduce the nutrient runoff, and also reduce eutrophications. And we can improve the water, the air, and in the soil, and especially for the nutrient system, we also reduce the carbon dioxide emission, also reduce the losses of the water via the evaporation. And here we can see that with the covers, soils, and cover crops, and no-till the system, and we have a loss of kinds of organisms. We keep them because they live there. We live there for a longer time, and they have their house, and they have their children, they have their family, and everything there, and they work for us. So it's instead of destroy them, and we grow them, and then we see so many benefits. So yeah, this is my presentation, and thank you very much for your attention. And I would like to emphasize is the saying like the healthy soil is bring to the healthy food, and the healthy food, this means that to keep the people healthy. So thank you very much for your attention.
Hey, itu unmute.
Yeah.
Unmute. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Professor Hia, for your presentation. That's a new perspective of soil. We also knew that soil has a community, and each part have an important roles. But it's the most important things is in the future we have a potential to develop the microbes of the soils to cure or maybe kills the cells cancer. We hope one day we will reach that for the goods of the humanity. Thank you, Professor Kia. Well, the last but not least, we have Professor Nalini. If before we have talked about the crucial topics, but right now we will talk about the critical topics, because we don't want to running out of the food, right? So, Professor Nalini, we welcome you. Please share with us. Time is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Adi Satria. Salam from Malaysia. My name is Nalini Arumugam. I'm from Faculty Bioresources and Food Industry. My expertise is in agribusiness marketing. And today what I'm going to share is my studies, the research that I'm doing. I already complete on the title, Unveiling the Determinant of Big Data Application Among Small Farmers. Okay. Before that, I need to thank the organizing committee, International Conference on Business, Agribusiness and Agriculture, to invite me to share my my study with this group of people, academician, speaker, and adik-adik, sahabat-sahabat di Indonesia. Salam semua, salam ibu-ibu, bapa-bapa di Indonesia. Terima kasih untuk bagi peluang ini untuk saya. I'm going to conduct this section in English, but in between I will use Malay since our main audience is from Indonesia. So without further ado, and before I forget, I need to thank Ibu Rika. I hope she's here. To be the license officer, contact me and ask me several things. Thank you, Ibu Rika. Okay, we already listened to Prof. Aminul on digital marketing, Prof. Song Su Lim on agriculture trade, Prof. Huang, I really like your tagline, healthy soil, healthy food, healthy people, okay? And everyone shared their views, okay? And Prof. Aminul was more on digital marketing. Prof. Song Su Lim was telling the real scenario, current scenario. And there is increase in the trade of agriculture. I feel for that, okay. And Prof. Wang was sharing on the soil. I was going to the lecture. It's a really a thorough detail of microorganism, macro, fauna, flora, okay. Thanks for all the knowledge sharing today. And the given topic for me is on food management, how to food management and distribution during this COVID pandemic time. But I slightly change because I want to look into the small farmers. Our small farmers, are they ready to adopt ICT? Because it's ICT, they are really ready or not? Because the whole population been fed by, there is data, been fed by 80% of small farmers. Okay, yes, we are talking about the Internet of Things, we are talking about big data, everything, okay, all those things. But our small farmer, especially in Malaysia, because the study is based on Malaysia, and I assume that it's related to our neighboring countries such as Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, okay. I'm assuming that, maybe I'm wrong, okay. Are they really ready? Are they really want to adopt to increase the yield? That is what my study about today lah. Okay, so allow me. I can't change the slide. Hold on. Okay, United Nations report that global population would increase to 9.7 billion by 2050. Okay, 2050. Okay, so there is issue where food population or food production must increase more than 60% to meet up with the challenges, even though agriculture land being utilized for the urbanization factors. Okay, rapid urbanization, people need more place to stay, so we are demolishing the land for maybe for our selfishness. Okay, there is issue on climate change. Okay, a lot of challenges are there which need to be faced by this 80% of small farmers, the whole population. The small farmer will need to feed the whole population. Okay, 80% of small farmer will need to feed the whole population. Okay, so are these farmers ready or not? Okay, how they going to increase the yield, production? Okay, macam mana mereka nak tambahkan lagi makanan dekat dunia ni? Sedangkan ramainya adalah petani-petani kecil. 80% adalah petani-petani kecil. Okay, the problem is farmland is a lot of problem, okay, quite a number of problem, but farmland are being taken away by rapid urbanization and also with the climate change. Okay, climate change means global warming, ni semua kita dah tahu lah. Okay, loss of biodiversity, okay, deforestation, okay, it's going on. Okay, we have to take care of our mother nature, and the main thing is food insecurity. Food is secure enough or not? The safety and security been highlighted for decades already. Okay, this problem been highlighted for decades, and how to face this? Okay, beat these small farmers. Okay, who feeding the world population, feeding the world population. Okay, so we suggest, we know that digital marketing will do significant difference, okay, on the production side, on the marketing side. Okay, we know that. Okay, we know that. But again, the question is, farmer is ready or not? Petani kita sudah bersedia atau tidak? they capable or not. Okay, easy for them to access for information, access for the technology. Are they easily can accessible? Okay, that is a question about. Okay, so the objective of this study that we carried out is to access information on existing technology. Okay, among Malaysian farmer. What are the technology available for them in the field, in the farm practices that they can use to increase the production. Second objective is to identify the determinant of big data application adoption among small farmer. Are they ready or not? Are they because majority of them above in the age of 40, are they able to adopt this consider new knowledge adoption? Sometimes they prefer with the traditional method, okay, which the yield is not that great, okay, so are they ready or not? Then second, we will look into the what are the factors will barrier them to apply this technology, big data devices. When I talk about big data devices, everyone use smartphone, okay? Everyone, not necessarily smartphone lah. Everyone use a mobile phone, okay? How they utilize in terms of increasing their production, increasing their marketing activity, that is again questionable, okay? So small farmers in Malaysia, 80% of our farmers in Malaysia are considered in the category of small farm, okay? And this data is consistent with the old farmers, small farmers as well, okay? However, even though 80% is occupied by small farmer, farmer have a problem lagging behind in embracing big data devices. Okay, how to embracing here means how to utilize. Macam mana nak guna pakai ni? Okay, bukan untuk tengok YouTube aja, untuk dengar lagu ke tak. Macam mana nak guna tools, teknologi tools yang mereka ada ni untuk menambah baikkan hasil tanaman mereka. Okay. So it's in a way when if they know how to utilize, and maximize the usage of mobile phone, drone, okay, all those gadgets. So we positively believe they can increase the quantity and quality of the food. Okay, quantity and quality of the food. Also, apart from the provision of nutrition and food security to the country, small farmers pun bukan saja mereka bagi makanan untuk negara masing-masing, but in the way they are creating job. Okay, they increasing the employment rate. Okay, and they also can stop the rural urban migration, because now a lot of rural people going to urban. You know, urban is sesak. Okay, many population people in the urban area, rural area is less people want to work in a farm, okay? And the same time, they also preserve the biodiversity, okay? Besides feeding the world, this all they are doing for us, okay? So here our concern is how can agri-food be intensively increased despite the rapid population growth versus depletion of agricultural resources. As I said, we need to increase our food production 60%, okay, because our world population now is 9.8 billion, okay. So how to increase? Okay, the solution we are suggesting using with ICT, okay, big data devices, okay, social media, soil sensor. Just now Prof. Nia was talking about soil, okay, microorganism in the soil. So easily with the apps or with devices easily can identify, okay, drone, satellite, okay, to facilitate the advancement of ICT, then IoT. Okay, so the solution for them to increase the food production by using ICT, big data devices. That is a solution, okay. But again, are they ready or not? We don't know yet. Okay, the adoption of big data, why we are saying is important, okay, it can, of course, definitely enhance the production and security. Of course, now everyone, all of us are going towards modernization in agriculture sector and youth empowerment, okay, in the government, Malaysia government are coming up with a lot of strategies, funding to enhance the youth, okay, encourage the youth to participate in agriculture. And same time we can develop rural development, okay. So why people are moving from rural to urban? Because urban got a lot of facilities, infrastructure, ada banyak tempat hiburan lah, all of things pushing them to go to from rural to the urban. So if we rural we develop in such way, then I don't think so there is need for them to move to urban, okay. So rural development also can be enriched as well. Okay, so this survey was conducted, this survey was conducted, total respondent who involved in this survey is 349 orang petani-petani dari livestock, dari paddy, dari dairy, fishery, sayur dan buah-buahan. So total number of 349 small farmers been interviewed, definitely with using a questionnaire. Due to the pandemic, we have to do it mixed mode, okay. We have to mix mode, qualitative and quantitative approach, okay. And a total number of small farmer in Malaysia is recorded is 467,184. From there, I think this 349 from different category representing the population, okay. So the data analysis was on the term of SEM, structural equation modeling, by using software of IBM SPSS and IBM SS Amos, okay. So from Malaysia, these are the states. We have like 14 states, okay. So Johor, Kedah, Kelantan, Pahang, Perak, Selangor, Terengganu, and Sabah was the sampled area, okay. We use stratified sampling. As I mentioned earlier, the category of farmers are from paddy, vegetable, fruit, dairy, livestock, and fishery, okay. Padi, sayur, buah-buahan, tenusu, penternakan dengan perikanan, okay. So these are the, because definitely we will come up with the questionnaire, we will ask them, okay, we want to know our farmer entrepreneurial characteristic or not. So these are the element. I don't want to dwell on this a lot, okay. The thing is, I want to show the data on the adoption level of the farmer. Okay, yes, we are talking everywhere. We are talking about the importance of ICT. We are talking about the importance of going social media, digital marketing. But we have to make sure the community, the biggest community, the farmer community, are they in that era or not? Okay, we need to prepare them. Okay, we need to push them. This group, we need to push them. Okay, so the item that we are the variables that of course from literature review, blah blah blah. Okay, we had item on innovativeness, the texters on innovativeness, proactiveness of the farmer. Are they able to take any risks? Okay, technology, when we talk about technology, or maybe they think it's very expensive, they can't afford to buy, okay. Do they know the perceived usefulness of this technology, these devices, okay. How easy is for them to use, okay. It's complicated enough for them, stop them to adapt, or it's easy enough for them, allow them to use that technology, okay. And we also look into the intention to adapt. Are they really intend to adapt or not? Okay, total item that the questionnaire is 65. Of course, we did the pre-test. Okay, so after the pre-test, we modify certain items so that the farmer really can understand. Farmer, petani-petani boleh faham apa soalan kita. So mereka boleh understand. So kita memang lah, okay. And for to do this survey, we have to ask a permission due to the pandemic lah. Permission from Ministry of Agriculture and Food Industry, okay. And even two personnel from Ministry evaluate our questionnaire, okay. So these are the standard deviation. I don't want to bore you with the numbers, okay. So we run, we see what element, okay. We develop research model based on technology acceptance model and concept of entrepreneurial orientation, okay. So that is the model that we use, two models that we use, okay. Then from the model, these are the reading lah. Okay, reading the data. Okay, so here, okay, innovative. Someone talking, is it? Sorry. Okay, innovativeness, proactiveness, risk-taking, perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use. Okay, intention to use PD devices. Okay, is corn alpha to more than 0.5. Okay, all the items been measured and showing a reliability that all the items in the questionnaire can be used, can be understand and valid information actually. Okay, these are the components and out of 65 certain items we need to remove because they are the point is below than 0.5. So it's normal practice when it's below 0.5 we remove, but in this case we remove 0.7 below, we remove that. Okay, we remove all the unnecessary item lah. We don't want to confuse our farmers. Okay, so on the respondent, okay, most of the respondent, why we demography profile is important, we want to know the education level. Okay, on the education level, 57% of our farmers which interviewed, okay, have secondary education. Okay, so they able to understand the simple apps, they can utilize. Okay, so they have the knowledge. Only 12% from primary school. Okay, and in our among these 349 farmers, postgraduate, we have a postgraduate master and PhD, 2% of them. Okay, and of course agriculture industry dominant by male. Okay, 94%. When we need to post, I think this scenario is similar to Indonesia, Vietnam. I'm assuming that, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, because agriculture activities is dominant by male lah. Okay, and majority of people who involved in Malaysia is Malay community, 69% of them, most of them married. Okay, and why we have to take this into social demography profile important, because when they are married, the commitment will be higher. Are they willing to commit for technology or not? The cost of it, are they willing to bear the cost of it or not? Okay, all those elements lah. Okay. Again, continue with the demographic profile. Okay, most of the farmers, 40% of farmers, they have farm size 1 to 5 acres. Okay, and source of capital is personal. They use their personal fund on the farm activities, and most of them own the farmland. Okay, only like 6%. 34, okay, 34 plus 6, 40% of them rent or lease the land. Okay, and most of them full-time farmers. Okay, and 23% of them involved quite long lah. They involved in agriculture activity. Okay, so when we throw the question on usage of big data devices. Okay, a smartphone, 80% using smartphone. So they can, why we ask, because there is a difference between smartphone and mobile. The normal mobile phone, normal one, we only can receive message. Okay, smartphone we can include a lot of apps that can help on their farming practices. Okay, so they never use, like 30% only they receive email, they use email maybe you all wonder why email, because information can be transferred through email. Are they into email or not, receiving email, knowledge through email, not a paper or something else. Okay, and computer, less 32% only using computer, and tablet we no need to mention. Tablet, you can see that 40%, 14% only using tablet. Soil sensor, just now Prof was talking about soil. Only soil sensors been used by 9%, that is 28 farmers only using soil sensor. Satellite image used by 6% of the farmer, and drone also 6% of the farmer. Okay, most of the farmer estimated gross income is majority of them, 64% of them in between RM, Ringgit Malaysia, 1,000 to 5,000 lah. Okay, total cost farming, majority of them say per month they have to like spend 5K, okay, 5K in the farm activity. Okay, due to the farm size, small farm size, the farm workers also less than, majority of them using less than 4. And when you see family dependent, dependent means they have to take care of the family members. Okay, cost involved. Okay, cost involved. So the income is sufficient to take care of the family members or not. Okay, so 60% is 66%. The dependent family dependent is less than 4. Okay, so when we ask on the determinant, what will make the respondent use these big data devices? Kenapa mereka, apakah sebab yang mereka boleh guna? Apa yang akan buat mereka? Apakah faktor yang akan buat mereka untuk gunakan? And kita tanya mereka, okay, are you willing to spend money on agriculture technology devices? They said yes. Okay, but and when we ask, do they record agriculture activities? How they record? Everyone said they record, they write. Mereka tulis dalam buku lah. Berapa banyak duit keluar, berapa banyak duit masuk. Okay, all the information is written in the form of book. Till today. Okay, some not even keeping the record. Okay, some monitor their financial transaction. Okay, some majority 253 farmers which interviewed. Okay, they use smartphone. Okay, they use smartphone to get information related to agriculture. Okay, when we ask accessibility, internet accessibility, most of them agreed they have a good internet connection. Okay, most of them agreed they have good internet connection. Okay, I'm already came to the conclusion part. Okay, this is the determinant. All this question showing that, proving that they are willing to adapt. Okay, they are willing to adapt. So now maybe government need to put effort. They're giving a lot of funds. Malaysian government is giving a lot of funds, subsidy to the farmers to boost their production side, to boost their yield. Okay, to increase their income level, everything. Maybe government need to put extra strategies in using this ICT on their farming activity, regardless they are from which category, which group of farmers. They have to expose and introduce with the ICT devices so that the food production can be increased. Okay, so conclusion, data-driven agriculture is very important in this era. Okay, in terms of the supply, in terms of demand, we need the information. Okay, data-driven agriculture is the way forward to achieve food sustainability and security to meet the needs of exponential growing population. Population kita dah banyak dah, 9.7 billion, banyak. Okay, we need to feed them, and this is good opportunity, business opportunities. This is the best time adik-adik yang ada dekat sini, okay, to invest in agriculture. Okay, and you need to feed the world. Okay, your population size and business opportunity is the global market. Okay, the second, the proliferation of smartphone and the internet made the application of big data devices, okay, should be realistic, and we have to boost this youth. Youth, why we are focusing on youth? Youth is our backbone of the nation. They are very energetic. They are very smart. They are with tremendous ideas in that. Okay, we need to encourage the youth, regardless from which country. We have to boost them to involve in agriculture sector. And bear in mind, all our civilization started with agriculture activity near the river. Okay, all this we know. Okay, and for that, a necessary knowledge, skill, and training should be given to improvise our small farmer to ensure that smooth adoption of big data devices for agriculture will be transformed among this farmer, of course, to increase the production and yield. With that, these are the reference that I used for this slide. With that, I conclude, and thank you for the opportunity for the organizing committee, and thank you Ibu Rika for the opportunity as well, and thank you University Medan area for giving me this opportunity to share my study. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much, Professor Nalini Arumugam, for sharing with us to help small farmers. Okay, that's all the presentation. Right now we are entering the discussion sessions. The discussion session will divide it into 2 sessions, which contains 2 questions for each sessions. If you want to ask a questions, you have to push raise hand button on the Zoom meeting apps. Then we will randomly choose you on our screens. Okay, let's begin. You may freely ask our presenter, our speaker. Let's begin. Let's see. And please the committee to unmute.
Yes, I need.
Okay, please introduce yourself and go on.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. So as from Animal Islam about digital marketing strategy for business. I mean digital marketing is best solution in the middle of pandemic COVID-19, especially for small business. And descriptive technology, any more descriptive technology for Facebook, Instagram, and any more descriptive technology. And then, and my question, if someone has the will to start if someone has the will to start digital marketing but doesn't have the capability, my question, what can done to be able to carry out the right digital marketing in the middle of pandemic COVID-19? Thank you.
All right. Should I answer the question, MC, Brother Fazal?
Yeah. I'm sorry, but we are here also didn't clear what the question is. So.
Okay. Basically, the question is quite straightforward. Your question is, if somebody doesn't have the ability or capability to go for digital marketing, what can he do, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, right.
Yes. I think if you want to use social media, you don't really have to have special skills to do that. If you want to use Facebook to promote your product, you don't really need much capabilities or skills. You have to just open a Facebook account, and you can boost it through Facebook. That's how you may be reaching thousands of people. So when you boost in the Facebook, it's a very small amount that you have to pay, and you have to basically identify the segment, market segment, what kind of population that you would like to reach. If you are very successful in selecting your target population, Facebook will do the rest of the things for you. So you do not need really any special capabilities or skills for that. All right. So same way you can use Instagram. If you have friends with you in Instagram, you can use even Twitter also to promote your products. So that doesn't really require much skills. Even you can just have some discussion with your friends who are studying in university and all that, and even possibly someone who is involved in digital marketing, promoting product already, may give you some good idea how to do it. Okay, sister?
Okay, thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yes,
Did I answer your question?
yeah, okay. I think make this Facebook is familiar in Indonesia for all. I think uh, I have done the capability for digital marketing, and I trust to make digital marketing.
Okay, actually there are many platforms available which you can register. For example, in Malaysia, we have Lazada and Shopee, and then few other platforms also available, very popular. If you have a small company and if you register with them, they will do the rest. You don't have to even promote your product. And those platforms are secure. So even myself, last 2 years, most of the purchases that I make are through Lazada and Shopee. Okay. So if you have to follow the rules and regulations in Indonesia, get your company registered and then get registered with the platform. Which platform is very popular in Indonesia? May I know? I do not really have any idea. Like in Malaysia, we have Lazada and Shopee. What platform is there in Indonesia?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Prof. Yeah, step by step to make use digital marketing, Lazada, Shopee, and other platform.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
Welcome.
Prof.
Welcome.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Islam and participant who asking. And the next questions, please, for the audience.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Moderator.
Yes, go on, sir.
Okay. Can you hear my voice clearly? All right. Thank you so much for moderator who give me the great opportunity to give a question to our magnificent keynote speaker. Please introduce myself firstly. I'm Irfan from Medan Area University. I would like to ask Dr. Nalini. Hi, Dr. Nalini. I think you might recognize me that you had been as a keynote speaker also in water management. Hello, Dr. Nalini.
Hi, Dr. Irfan. Yeah. I'm looking for the mute button. Sorry. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. Thank you for inviting me again.
The question is, as we already know that we are now witnessing fast changing world, particularly technology-based appliance like artificial intelligence, machine learning, and Internet of Things in every aspect. As the consequences of these major changes, big companies has positive impact but not for small farmer, like you have mentioned before. How about the small farmer, as they are in fact has not fully educated to operate the technology? The question is how to accelerate their understanding to optimize the utility of this massive technology. Like, even though we get information from big data, as you mentioned before, but they are not sufficiently educated for that. And the second question, how Malaysian small farmer be accustomed to this shifting paradigm? Like, we know first that they are conducting maybe like their plant crop just like manually, but now they have technology to be adapted in their crop planting. And then the third one, in what way to extend this benefit, especially to small farmers? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ifan, for the question. That's why in my conclusion I was mentioning 3 points, and two of them is to encourage youth, because some farmers, even though they are educated, but they refuse to the change, refuse to change. They believe that whatever they are doing is right. Okay, so we can train them. Malaysian government doing a lot of training program in enhancing their skill, enriching their skill. Okay, some they agree, they adapt the training, they go with the trend. Some, can I say, quite majority numbers, they are reluctant for the changes. Okay, that's why in my conclusion side I was focusing on we have to train our youth. We train the youth on the importance of agriculture. Youth have to think that agriculture can give a lot of money. Okay, that's why the entrepreneurial skill need to be there. And modernization, maybe with the internet, ICT, okay, all these devices can boost the youth, because they are into this era, information technology era. So that is my intention when I put in the conclusion slide. Okay, and I don't know, we are facing the same similar problem or not. I don't know, not sure in Indonesia. Okay, Malaysia, but I will, yes, are there, but in the slow pace. In one night, we have to slowly change that. Okay, but a lot of initiative and training being done by the government, Ministry of Agriculture and Food Industry. I hope I answer your question, because you asked three, is it? Ifan? Three, yeah?
Three questions.
Three. Did I answer three of them? I generalized everything.
It's slightly answering the question, actually.
Okay. Anything that I left? Sorry, I never jot down.
Yeah, it's okay. But the question is, the next question after your response from my question, you told me that the young generation is our concentration to educate them fully for this technology. And then how about the intrusive of something like intervention of the game application and several things? Like, we know that young generation tend to be amused by the game or something like that, and how to shifting their how to say paradigm.
The shifting paradigm, we have to, like, our job as a lecturer and personnel from ministry, they have to, like, come up with the training program, awareness, to show them agriculture is fruitful industry, cash flow industry. They thinking that agriculture is dirty. They thinking that is they the one work in hot sun. Okay, that mentality we have to change. We have to change, because technology nowadays, we have technology with us, so we no need to be in hot sun forever, 24 hours. No need. So the changing, we should be the changing medium. Government have to intervene to change their mindset. Somehow we have to do our role And of course, again, changing will take time. Changing will take time. Hope I answered.
Yes, thank you very much for that very nice explanation. Thank you so much, Dr. Nalini. Thank you, moderator, for giving me opportunity.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. And of course, Professor Nalini. We open the second sessions. We'd like to see from our screen. Please show us our screen. The committee, please show us our screen. Okay, we see Professor Sabamalau in here.
Yes, thank you very much for the you allow me to ask. I address my question to all of you, honorary speakers. You can understand that this question is general. I'm a lecturer in the university, no mention HKBP University, Medan. I saw the presentation revealed that the agriculture economic activity in the pandemic era increased. Is it because of the lower price or something other reason? I saw that farmers, coffee farmers, were suffer because the coffee price was down sharply, but the export increased. So I think we cannot be happy about that because the farmers are suffer. They are not happy. So how could we be happy about that? And what we can do the next period?
Thank you, Professor.
The second is, I don't have data how many young people involved in the agriculture sector. But personally, I hear from my students, from the young people, that they avoid to be farmers. The reason is they say farming has no possibility to be rich. So they don't think to be only sufficient. They want to be rich. How can we overcome this problem? I mean, is in Malaysia, in Thailand, in Korea, in Vietnam, arise the same reason? Or this is only psychologically effect? And the third is, Mr. Song said that we have to educate young people. But we have to educate them if the mindset is so. Thank you very much for this.
Okay, thank you very much,
question.
Professor Sabam, and for all the speakers. I think because there is one of three questions appointed to Professor Song, so I'd like to Professor Song to answering Professor Sabam Malau for third question and the first question, I think. And the second question, I'd like to welcome Professor Nguyen Hoi here for maybe so we can equal for each answering. Okay, please, Professor Song first.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that the coffee price is not good and Indonesian farmers are suffering from that. My experience with data for some other commodities in general, the overall, those index is skyrocketed last couple of years. So in fact, if you see the world prices for those agriculture products and the resource-related, products, prices is very high, like the, the petroleum fuel or some copper, those mineral products, and some the agriculture products as well, like mostly grain prices they stay very high. So I'm sorry to hear that Indonesian farmers are not the beneficiary of this high commodity price movement. Um, I do not know the exact the industry situation of coffee, so my reply would be very limited for that. Probably I will study about those coffee cases, and if I come up with some positive answers, I'll definitely share with you in the future. Regarding young farmers and their mindset, this is very common observation for everywhere, not only Indonesia, but in Korea and other part of Asia. Younger people want to get into more the industry bases, like ICT areas or some large conglomerate, job opportunities. That is very true for Koreans cases. Even my university students, they want to go into that prosperous areas as their job. But one thing I want to point out that some the retired the people or small number of young minds, they decide to go back to rural areas because now even rural areas can provide some opportunity for them to do some business. For instance, ICT, everywhere you can access to this information, or smart farm, climate smart farm, things like that. Only young people can do it. Small farmers or those, allow me, the undereducated people, it's very hard for them to adopt this new innovation. So who can do this kind of smart farming? Who can use this mobile phone technology? Who would be the user of this big data? That's educated people who have been trained in university or some the academia. They can do it. So those urban dwellers, young mind, they decide to come back to their hometown or rural area. They open the farming such a way, environment friendly or organic farming like that. So they are not selling their products to the general consumers. Rather, they are targeting on certain segment of consumers who are concerned about the environment, who want to buy organic products, who want to buy high quality of products. For the case, we find many success stories in this country. Their income is actually much greater than the regular salary man in urban area. So as entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, we find some young mind that they want to pursue their career in agricultural sectors, and their marketing, former the gentleman mentioned about this, their way to do agribusiness marketing is totally different from the traditional way. So they can reach out, their target consumers, and they can be very successful. So I hear many stories about that. So I never lose my hope and interest. We still find some young people. We still find those educated people, even middle age or retired people. They want to do farming for their the environment friendly or sustainable way. That will be a huge boost to the whole community in rural areas. So we need that kind of people coming back. They're what? It's a reverse migration to urban to rural area.
I have to agree with Prof. Su, that scenario is going on in Malaysia as well. Surprisingly, there is few engineers that I know, they let go their job, now involved in agriculture as their main income for their. Things are changing, but again, it's in the slow pace. Can't see drastic changes there, but things are changing. People are migrating from urban to rural to have balanced life. Actually, a lot of elements, what factors are pushing this migration as well. Thank you, bro, for sharing. In Malaysia also we have the similar situation is going on actually.
Okay, thank you for the speakers. But I'd like to welcome Professor Ria. I know this is not part of your subject, but we want like to hear your response for these questions,
Okay.
especially what happening in Vietnam.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor, for asking the 3 questions. So actually, I totally agree with Professor Song Lee Sun for his answerings. And I think it's like you mentioned that the coffee farmers in Indonesia had a problem. In Vietnam, we also have the same problem for the coffee farmers. So not with the farmer, the coffee farmer, we have like the hot pepper, the pepper farmers also we have the problem, and also for the rice in the Mekong Delta of Vietnam. And you know, it's the problem now, as you mentioned, that's the young farmers. We have like in the Mekong Delta is the biggest areas for the agriculture sectors of Vietnam. And we, but you know, it's most of the young people, they leave, you know, the immigration. They leave their home, their house, and to go to the industrial zone, for example, like in Ho Chi Minh City or Bình Dương, the biggest industry zone, and they have the big family there and work there, but they live at, you know, the farms and the houses there just for, you know, the children and also for the elders people. So this means that the agriculture sector now in Vietnam is really the big problem. And I totally agree that with we need to change the mindsets of the young, you know, educated people who study in agriculture, and also the young people who really like to work in their farm, and to be used to high techs to produce you know, the high qualities, and also increase the use and use the precise agriculture, something like that. And now you know, the problem is the situation already changed because of the COVID-19. You know, in Vietnam, in the last 3 months, and we had the big you know, the outbreak of the COVID-19, and a lot of people died. And therefore the workers who really they cannot stay anymore in the big city like Ho Chi Minh City or Bình Dương, so they really come back their house and they decide to stay there. So it means that the situation for the livelihoods in the countryside is also changes very much, and the government should be do something to, you know, to keep everything in the balance, like to have the more, you know, people work on their farm, and to have the agribusiness in you know, their farm. I think it's they must to learn about the high tech, especially for the e-marketing, or like from all the techniques from Professor Nalini's also presented is also the good lesson for Vietnam, especially in the people, the farmers in the Mekong Delta of the Vietnam. And I think with not just only the young farmer, they can do themselves, but with the help of the government, we can solve that problem. Otherwise, it's very terrible, because you know, right now the prices of the agricultural products, for example, like fruit or rice or vegetable, the farmer, they sell with a very low price. But when they move from the countryside to the big city, and the price is like maybe like 10,000. Sorry, like 10 times higher than than in the countryside. That's really pity. And the farmer, they you know, they throw everything, and they don't want to sell because it's very cheap, and you know, they cannot compensate with that. They put for their agricultural productions.
Thank you very much, Professor Ria, and for all of the speakers. And I'm sorry, and we are very sorry about, apologize for all the audience. We cannot take all the questions. That, for your information, in our chat room is already full of questions, but we cannot take that because we're running out of time. So that's all for the main event. It's hard to ending this conference because we want to dig more your knowledge about these issues, especially about the agriculture. But what can I say? We're running out of time. So thank you very much for all the speakers. May God bless you. Peace be upon you, and stay healthy. Be back to you, Miss Shirley.
Thank you, Mr. Fajar. Well, that was the very useful and enlightening presentations and discussions from all our keynote speakers. We really thank you. And now we are going to have photographs together. So, dear audience, please turn on your videos and give your best smiles. Our photos will be taken on the count of 3. Okay, get ready. 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more time. Get ready. 1, 2, 3. Thank you all. Dear audience, coming up to the next session, we are going to have a break time for 60 minutes, and then we are going to enter the parallel session. Therefore, please allow me to present the guidelines for presenters in that parallel sessions for one more time. First, participants should join the conference at least 15 minutes before it started by using the link provided by the committee. You can check the link in participants' WhatsApp group, or please chat the committee. The parallel session will be divided into 4 rooms. Room 1 and 2 for business theme, room 3 for agribusiness theme, and room 4 for agriculture theme. Second, when entering the room, participants must use this following format name: room number _ serial number _ your full name. Third, the presentation time for each presenter is only 15 minutes, including the preparation and discussion. Fourth, please make sure you have a reliable and secure internet connection, and also being in a secure and quiet environment. Fifth, all participants should wear headset or hands-free set and be aware of when your microphone is on mute mode or not. Sixth, all participants have videos or webcams enabled. Seventh, be respectful of other participants and avoid unnecessary typing if possible. 8. At the end of the session, the best presenter of each team will be selected. Therefore, let's make the best presentation as possible as you can. Dear audience, please do not hesitate to contact us if you find any technical difficulties. And now let's enter the break time. Please be noted that our session will be started at 1 o'clock in Indonesian time. Please enjoy your break time and see you soon. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Universitas Medan Area atau UMA merupakan perguruan tinggi yang berada di Sumatera Utara, tepatnya di Kota Medan. Kota Medan merupakan kota bisnis yang terbesar di Pulau Sumatera dan merupakan kota nomor 3 dengan jumlah penduduk terbanyak di Indonesia dengan beragam kultur, etnis, budaya, agama, dan bahasa yang hidup rukun dan humanis. UMA didirikan sejak tahun 1983 dan menjadi perguruan tinggi terbaik serta unggul dalam pendidikan dan berdaya saing di tingkat nasional maupun di tingkat internasional. Keberadaan UMA berada di 2 lokasi kampus, yakni Kampus 1, Jalan Kolam nomor 1 Medan Estate, dan Kampus 2, Jalan Seiserayu nomor 70A atau Jalan Setiabudi nomor 79B. Perkembangan UMA yang terus-menerus mengalami peningkatan mutu pendidikan dan juga turut serta dalam pelestarian lingkungan hidup dengan kampus yang mengusung tata ruang terbuka hijau dan asri dengan menanam berbagai macam jenis pohon langka, tanaman obat dan bunga di setiap sudut kampus, serta di Taman Hutan Raya atau disebut juga sebagai Tahura Kampus dan hingga saat ini menjadi hutan terbaik di Sumatera Utara dan menjadi hutan konservasi Kementerian Kehutanan Republik Indonesia hingga menjadikan UMA sebagai kampus bestari. Sebagai mewujudkan UMA menjadi perguruan tinggi pilihan dan idola masyarakat Sumatera Utara, maka UMA selalu mendapatkan prestasi di bidang pendidikan, bidang lingkungan, prestasi mahasiswa, prestasi dosen, dan prestasi institusi dalam dan luar negeri, yaitu meraih prestasi dari Green Matrix World University Rankings Discover the World Top Greenest University dengan ranking 17 di Indonesia dan ranking 303 di dunia sebagai kampus yang peduli terhadap keberlanjutan lingkungan. Selain itu, UMA juga memperoleh pengakuan prestasi dari BAN PT dengan akreditasi institusi peringkat B dan peringkat A pada hampir semua program studinya dari BAN PT. Kemudian, prestasi lainnya yaitu penilaian dari Weibo Matrix Ranking of World Universities sebagai PTS terbaik nomor 1 di Sumatera Utara tahun 2020 sampai 2021. UMA juga meraih PTS terbaik nomor 1 di Sumatera Utara pada 4ICU University Ranking Most Popular Top World Universities pada tahun 2020 sampai dengan 2021. Dalam lingkup ASEAN, UMA telah menjadi Associate Member of Komite Nasional Ekonomi dan Keuangan Syariah Dunia. Perpustakaan UMA juga meraih akreditasi dengan peringkat unggul A dari Perpustakaan Nasional Republik Indonesia. Mahasiswa UMA berasal dari seluruh provinsi di Indonesia dan dari mancanegara yang menempuh studi di program sarjana dan program magister serta program doktor. UMA memiliki 7 fakultas dengan 21 program studi, yaitu Fakultas Teknik, Fakultas Pertanian, Fakultas Ekonomi dan Bisnis, Fakultas Hukum, Fakultas Ilmu Sosial dan Ilmu Politik, Fakultas Psikologi, Fakultas Sains dan Teknologi, program magister dan program doktor yang berada di 2 lokasi kampus di Kota Medan. Kegiatan belajar mengajar di UMA telah menerapkan sistem penjaminan mutu dalam menjamin keberlangsungan pendidikan yang berkualitas dan unggul, serta berwawasan lingkungan melalui pengembangan penelitian dan inovasi teknologi secara sustainable, serta sarana dan fasilitas penunjang, yaitu perpustakaan, Laboratorium Komputer dan Multimedia, Laboratorium Bahasa, Mini Studio Broadcasting, Asrama Mahasiswa, Pusat Pelayanan Kesehatan, Laboratorium Teknik, Laboratorium Kultur Jaringan, Laboratorium Pengelolaan Kompos, Taman Kupu-Kupu, Kebun Percobaan, Sarana Olahraga, Kantin, Food Court, dan Masjid Taqwa. Semangat untuk menjadi universitas yang unggul dengan reputasi nasional dan internasional, maka UMA secara aktif melakukan kegiatan akademik berupa seminar nasional dan internasional, kunjungan dan kerjasama PTN-PTS dalam dan luar negeri, dan aktif mengikuti kegiatan Olimpiade Nasional Internasional, serta menjalin kerjasama dengan PTN-PTS, BUMN-BUMD, dan perusahaan swasta. Sebagai universitas yang tanggap pada dinamika sosial kemasyarakatan, maka Universitas Medan Area memberikan pelayanan dalam bentuk kegiatan konsultasi yang dilaksanakan melalui Biro Konsultan, yaitu Biro Konsultan Inotek Desain, Biro Bimbingan dan Konseling Psikologi, dan Biro Bantuan Hukum. UMA juga mendirikan unit usaha seperti Pusat Produksi Perkebunan UMA, Peternakan Unggas dan Pembiakan Ikan, Jual Beli Online, Food Court dan Pasar Murah. Unit usaha tersebut merupakan bagian dari income generating bagi UMA sehingga dapat meningkatkan kesejahteraan sivitas.
Universitas Medan Area pada saat ini terus menyesuaikan diri dengan kondisi terkini dan perkembangan teknologi informasi serta komunikasi terbaru di dalam melaksanakan kegiatan proses pembelajaran dan pendidikan. Arahan dan harapan Presiden Bapak Joko Widodo sangat jelas bahwa perguruan tinggi harus bisa beradaptasi dengan cepat sehingga bisa berkontribusi secara maksimal dalam menyelesaikan permasalahan nyata di masyarakat. Saat ini, prestasi perguruan tinggi dilihat dari indikator kinerja utamanya, yaitu berkaitan dengan prestasi mahasiswa dan lulusan, prestasi SDM dosen dan tenaga pendidikannya, serta kurikulumnya. Kemudian, UMA di dalam pengelolaannya harus memenuhi standar, yaitu sesuai dengan Permendikbud nomor 3 tahun 2020 tentang Standar Nasional Pendidikan Tinggi. UMA juga harus meraih prestasi di dalam peringkatan perguruan tinggi, baik di tingkat nasional maupun di tingkat internasional, seperti yang sering dicapai selama ini.
Kekukuhan keilmuan yang sejati dengan dibekali kaidah moral akan mampu menciptakan sivitas akademika Universitas Medan Area menjadi insan-insan yang memiliki keunggulan, yaitu inovatif, profesional, dan berkepribadian, dan siap merubah serta menyongsong masa depan yang penuh harapan. Orientasi UMA sejak dahulu yaitu memberikan yang terbaik untuk bangsa Indonesia dan mengamalkan seluruh keilmuan dan intelektualitas demi kesejahteraan bangsa dan kemajuan Indonesia.